Greetings and salutations. Welcome to the Anime Lately podcast, your ultimate hub for all things anime and beyond. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're returning listening, or are you to the new channel, because welcome, because we're thrilled to have you on board for another exciting dive into the world of animation and pop culture. This is episode 158 of the Anime Lady podcast. Brace yourself for a character debate, sad conversation, and a dash of chaos and a hatred of lists or emotions, this time from Jokester himself, all crammed in a 2-hour adventure. So we're back and ready to cry about this emotional roller coaster that Arcane League of Legends has brought to us. As you know, for last week's episode, this was Arcane Season 1 coverage on episode 157. This one is 158. So engage with us, share this episode, bring your friends, and let's make this day unforgettable. All powered by AniMa W3 Studio. Moving forward, as always, we are pre-recorded, but catch every episode on a Thursday on YouTube or on the audio feed wherever you listen. So without further ado, let's get to the show. As your host, love and peace, Vash. There's a beauty in imperfection by Chase. And for the rest of the team,
what's good? It's your boy Jokester. My feelings are hurt. My feelings are hurt by this damn show. It made me cry twice.
It got us emotional. It got us in our feelings. But last, as always, the Hispanic assassin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, good evening, good night, whatever time it is. It's your boy asking the serious questions like, why is peace always a justification for violence? And a quick shout out. I always forgot to say happy belated to Scarlett Johansson. She's not part of Arcane, but you know, always a good shout out voice actresses like her.
That's a fact. You know, last week we said it on Arcane Season 1. You saw the 3-hour podcast. You heard it. Yes, almost a 3-hour show. It was Weeb's Lounge, Otaku News, and then we had our animation spotlight for Arcane Season 1. But then it's like, yo, that's a 3-hour show. But instead for this one, all the time codes will be down below for the description to see the topics, the conversation for Arcane Season 2 itself. Because this episode, there is no Weeb's Lounge. There is no Otaku News. So coverage will be for next week's discussion and show of what we will be discussing about. But for this episode, we'll be talking about the big animation spotlight. The main topic of the show is Arcane Season 2. But before we get into the meaty and greedy of the emotions that Jokester was crying about and broken into tears, I want to know the brief acknowledgement of Arcane Season 1, its success, and why the series has been so highly anticipated for its return 3 years later for Season 2. I want to bring it first to Jokester himself, since he didn't get the chance to be on last week's show because of scheduling, things happen. But I want to give it to you, Jokester, yourself.
So, with Arcane Season 1, it is what I consider to be a fucking masterpiece. It is one of the best animated TV shows that I have seen pretty much ever. It's like, it's not beating Avatar: The Last Airbender or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, which I think are the two best animated shows of all time. Is it a divisive take? Yeah, it is. I don't care. That's my opinion, right? But the strides that it made with its animation style, with using the name and characters of League of Legends, and then using them correctly, giving them more personality than we thought they would have, giving them reason that we didn't know from any other type of lore. It did it beautifully. The music that they used, amazing. The fight scenes, amazing. The emotions it invoked, immaculate. That bridge scene between Ekko and Jinx will be the best scene in all of animation.
Yes.
Period.
110% top 5, not even 10, top 5 fight animated of all time. I don't care if there's anything better that comes out in the future. You cannot change my mind. Jinx and Ekko, that fight did not have to go so hard. The people did not ask for it, and yet we received one of the most masterful fights ever. I can still remember that fight in my head vividly, where the fight, the flip, and the smack. There's no words. It was perfect. It's perfect.
The fuck, sir. So yeah.
To me, well, no. What you said is a great comparison to other highly 10 out of 10 animation shows. For example, like you said, Avatar: The Last Airbender, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Those are two shows that are acclaimed to be one of the best story shows, short as 60 episodes or less, because Avatar, I believe, is around 40 episodes or 60, and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is, I believe, 64 episodes. So as you could tell, great stories in such concise episodes where it doesn't need a grander or longer, as long as the story is driven was told. And you gave great comparison to animes that's such highly, where Arcane, I'll put it up there. Like another one I'll say up there is Castlevania, the one on Netflix. Highly up there. The story, the animation as well, when it comes to the last fights, the climax, all hits on all cylinders as well.
I would agree. I still need to watch the season with the pink-haired.
Oh yeah, Nocturnal, I think it's called.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Me either, but I still heard it's good. Season 2 is dropping in January, so don't worry. Little Easter egg for anybody. That will be one of our series to review in January because of season 2 dropping around that time.
I'm not gonna lie. I should be watching it, but it's something about, I like Dracula, Alucard character itself, love, but it's not a show that's like, oh, it's so great. I need to watch it. It's good. I'll give it that, but does it pique my interest? Probably not. Not gonna lie. I could be convinced otherwise. That's the main truth. I could be convinced otherwise for sure, but for now, probably a pass on me.
Talking about what to pass on, maybe to watch or not, I want to give a big shout out to Riot Games and the animation team for delivering season 1 and 2. We could break down the animation in a bit about how season 2 was, but also, I believe Crash brought up earlier, right before we started recording, that the rumor is Riot Games plan to do other spin-offs for the Arcane world. As my avid game players, because I am only anime only when it comes to Arcane, do you guys plan or excited, or what are you guys thrilled to see for the production of Riot Games and them exploring other stories in an animation format from the game of League of Legends?
Jokester, do you mind if I go first? Because I do have this is gonna go be a little personal for me. I did have something to speak on this.
Go ahead, brother Mine.
So first things first. It's at the very end of Arcane season 2, there is a post-credit photo. Anyone can look into it. I don't remember the exact time. You can look it up. But at the very end of the credits, Riot Games put a sentence that said, "Thank you, past and present League players," and that just touched my heart. The fact that I waited 3 years and I never wait for any kind of animation show for a long period of time. I can't even begin to tell you what other kinds of shows I have either dropped or left behind to do other stuff, but Arcane is the only show on God that I have come back to because it's just so special.
Attack on Titan.
Oh, I've been finished Attack on Titan. I'm like,
I couldn't. It took too long.
I don't blame you. It's hard. That first season is very, very hard. But Arcane, that show always had something special to me, and it's because of the game. And just seeing that sentence shed a tear in my eye, and that motivated me in a sense to maybe potentially go back to the game again and try playing some more. To Vash's question, about what projects they might have in the future. Let's address the elephant in the room real quick with the rumors about it potentially having some projects. Unfortunately, Arcane as a series has ended completely. There is no chance for season 3. The developers never considered potentially continuing the story from then onwards because there is no point to it. The story finished the way it should have, and I understand where the characters the developers were coming from with that. That being said, that's not the end of any League of Legends stories, because for anybody who has played the game, Jokester included, there's so much lore around every single character around the whole area of Ruteria. There's so many potential possibilities of stories to go for, and like what I said in the previous episode, with with League of Legends, the skins that you play as in the game also come from different universes. And like I said, I would love nothing more than a story with the Scar Guardian skins with Lux, with Jinx, with Ezreal, Urgot. We would ask you all this time. I know there's the skin with Urgot, but it's not the same. But I personally would like a universe, a story where it's animated. We can see that happen. Misfortune. How do I forget the most OP? You're right. Oh my god. Shame on me. And I've not played that game in years. Misfortune. You also have her story with Gangplank in Bilgewater, which was shown in season 2 of Arcane. You could even go to there's so many different possibilities. I don't even remember the name of these countries in my head. You have
the Gangplank storyline. I was mainly just talking about because she's also a Star Guardian.
Oh no, but even that too. Like, there's so many possibilities, going with this, and this is a conversation I'm definitely gonna go into, going with the ending of Arcane. But Riot Games has something going on here with the animation. They have so many ways they can go about this now. You can go with the Noxus story, with Darius and the other, villains, if you want to call them that, of that story, how they became to be Noxus. You also have Demacia, their, arch rivals, aka the good guys, Garen, Lux, Silas. That story in itself, even though it's in comic books, can be animated. That would be a great animated scene. You have Garen and you have Katarina, the good and the bad, supposed to be together, but, the love interest. That Riot has so many possibilities to go with it, and I'm just so happy that they're not going to stop at just Arcane and to continue going. More than anything, though, I am looking forward, and I don't know, Jokester, if you're familiar with it. There is a secret game that they're working on, a fighting game with characters with League of Legends. It is still in alpha. It is still not done. They set potentially 2026.
You weren't here for it. So I already know about I'm a part of the FGC, bro. I already know about 2XKO. And I was on the podcast begging for a fucking code that I never got. So, listen. Hey, listen. Twitch.tv/its_jokester. If you want to hit me up there, I'm still looking for a code to 2XKO. Please. I need to play as Jinx, bro. Like, come on, dog. Please.
Make that too. My league name, I have not played in years, but if you want to, send something in my DMs, Crash X131, please. I am Elo Gold.
We dropping Riot. We dropping Riot names. Listen, Mimikyu like the Pokemon. #stop. On Riot. That's my Riot ID. Like, go ahead, slide.
Please, I'll sponsor anything. I'll do anything. Please, just one taste of the bait. I just need to just see where it can go from there. I just really want to play as Ekko so I can kick some ass. Please, anybody can bless us. but I'm curious to know about your guys' takes on that. Just based on what you saw from the whole show overall, do you think it makes sense for the story to end just like that, or do you think
fuck no,
I should keep going?
Look. As a guy that's anime only, give me my fucking season 3. Tell me a bit more. Tell me of this future reality that we don't know what could have been, because Chase saw a reality where everything was frozen. Everyone's faces were gone. In this reality, people got faces. People are alive. People are not controlled. People have the freedom. So what's next? We don't know what happened with Jinx. Y'all gonna leave it so open-ended and ambiguous? Like, bro, I don't got time for this shit. I don't want to guess in the story that I'm not a League of Legends players. I don't know what is this other realities of Jinx. I don't know what's going on. So you're gonna blue balls me by the end and just have a happy little sunset, just ship going by? No. Give me another one season. After that, I don't care. Even if you give me a season, Act 1 only. That's it. 3 episodes last season. That's it. Please. Game-wise, give me a fighting game. Give me like a Marvel versus Capcom Arcane style of characters game. Sign me up. Give me the investment. Kickstarter. I will donate $20, $100, maybe $500 max. That's the most I will put the donation for this investment of Arcane type of League of Legends game in a Marvel versus Capcom style. I would love it. To me, just seeing how Cable does his type of finisher move, I'd love to see like a Jinx type of version of her sharks and just explosion and just things firing away. That'd be amazing.
So you have not seen the original trailer for like the 25-30 second, and that was a long time ago.
I have
wanna
not
say, like,
seen no League of Legends trailer in my life of the game or
Yeah, he
even the
don't
music
know.
ads. Nope. I don't know shit.
So,
I know jokes you know.
Arcane is just League of Legends, and that's what 2XKO is. That's what I've been asking for. It's League of Legends, the
Yes.
fighting game.
Yes.
The characters that like I'm pretty sure they're gonna add. I don't think Vi's in it yet. I'm pretty sure they're going to add her. But Jinx is already in it. Ekko is already in it. And those are the only two that are from that like are in Arcane that's in League of Legends that's in it. But they also got like a big axe nigga named Darius. They got fucking Akali. If you ever seen any of the KDA, she's the fox bitch, the sexy fox chick with a bunch of tails. Yasuo, samurai nigga. I don't know who else because I haven't played the damn beta. But you know, yeah, no, like what you asking for is 2XKO, and it is a tag team fighter. It's only with 2 instead of 3, like Marvel vs. Capcom.
Yes.
But it is a tag team fighter, like you know, like actually like MVC Infinite, because Infinite was only 2.
Okay, so I'm staring at Google, at the 2KO. I see Ekko, and I see a girl with some cat ears.
I see Alawi. Ari. Shout out to Ari. She is the most OP mage. If chat knows, a lot of people main her as mage. I hate her, but she's such a great champ.
What's the game called 2XKO?
Two
champions. Two times. Yeah.
Mm.
It was originally called Project L, now named 2XKO, which I think is cool.
Project L would have been such a better name, bro.
I mean, yeah.
Because
I'm fine with both.
Yeah, because I see some type of promo image literally saying Project L is now called 2XKO. That's why I'm like, I don't know.
There is no release date for it as of right now, as a podcast, correct? Because again, I'm very, very, very behind.
But they already announced the next beta happening, I think, beginning of next year, which I already signed up for. So, a Riot, I know you can't see me because I'm a PNG tuber, but I'm doing a gimme motion at the camera. Give me my nigga, please.
Yeah, right now, from what I'm seeing, is that from Google right now, from the search, they don't have no official release date, but it says that it's going to be releasing in 2025. It just says that it doesn't have no summer, no spring, no nothing, no quarter, no guess estimate. So it's just right now, 2025.
Right. And they know, and you guys know, I've spent thousands, and I'm not afraid to say that on this podcast, thousands of dollars. The least you could do for me is slide me 1, 2 for my boy, 3 for the company, 4 for the rest of the people. Please, thousands of dollars. You can't slide me one code, please. 1 code is all I ask. Thousands of dollars. Can't we slide me that? Cheap asses. But please. Thank you.
But also, because it kind of pertains to the question that you asked of other things we want to see from, like, well, I know we brought up Riot, or we brought up League of Legends, but Riot does have another game that I play very casually called Valorant.
Yes, that is from
I'm
Riot.
so sorry for you.
Listen. All I'm saying is I feel like a Valorant show would go so fucking hard. I actually do like the lore of Valorant. It's kind of depressing in a way, but like,
yeah,
I would love to watch that. I would love to watch it. So
it's funny you say that, and I'll speak on it real quick.
Also, put Jet into XKO.
It's funny that, like, with someone who has played League and someone watching somebody else play League, I feel the same way. So me personally, I have not played Valorant because I know going in there, either I'm going to become that toxic player or I'm going to go into that rabbit hole of I can never get the fuck out of that game, even though it sucks, like a good kind of suck. And if you know, you know. But
I broke my relationship. I don't play. I play that game maybe once every 2 months now. Not nearly as much as I used to.
My quick comment towards what you guys were saying is that once I heard Jokester said that you play the game, but then it's depressing. It's like, why every good content that's great to watch, good to play, always comes with the hashtag it gets depressing.
It does, and
Listen,
there's
those
so many
emotions,
memes about it. Go.
those emotions just come out, bro. Like, here's the thing: most of the story of Valorant is like, I'm gonna give you a flip notes of it, right? We got this thing called Radianite. It is a fucking resource in the world, kind of like how we treat fucking oil or whatever. Um, it's being farmed, and one world almost ran out of it. They discovered interdimensional travel, so a bunch of scientists and army niggas who formed some fucking corporation whose symbol is a K, goes to a different world and tries to steal their radianite. But while they're stealing their radianite, what they're actually doing is not only stealing it, but setting off a fuck ass bomb that blew up most of Italy. So yeah, now people are dealing essentially the Valorant Corporation, or that's what the team is called, is dealing with the alternate versions of themselves, which is why it's a 5v5 against different clones of yourself. Also,
Oh.
a lot of people are affected differently. Some, like, there are some who are affected by Radianite, some who are just called Radiants. They were born with powers. And then some are just people like my main. She's just a girl who loves to have fun, and she also might just be a Brazilian.
Don't you dare say Viper. Don't you dare say Viper.
Oh no, I mean Raze, bro.
Okay.
Raze is not Brazilian. Viper is not Brazilian. But
okay.
like, yeah, no. So and the depressing part mainly comes from like characters like Viper, who is a evil scientist, but they like
Toxic.
yeah, you know, she's toxic as fuck. But then
Damn.
you got characters like Omen, who is who has a backstory with the healer Sage, but she can't heal him from what essentially is theorized that Viper did to him, which basically turned him into a fucking specter. It gets fucked on some accounts. But then you got, you know, characters like Raze, who is just a terrorist who likes to have fun. Characters like Chamber, who fights with his credit card, literally.
Yeah.
And KO, who is a black robot cop.
I know I'm familiar with some of the characters. I have not touched Valorant. I mean, like, story characters in a while, but I'm familiar with some, like, their basic, like, the main characters that release from its release, and just seeing like how everyone plays, like, in Twitch, YouTube, and everything. I'm just like, I see League in it, and I'm like, I can't go back to that rabbit hole. Like, a part of me is like, no, I can't.
You wanna do you want a really good mindfuck comparison of Valorant and League?
No, well, tell me
Jet?
anyway. But
Jet, look at Jet, and then I think look at Akali.
No, I see the comparison. You know
Exactly.
what? I have someone. Yeah. Can I get into it? Yes. It's like gotcha. It's exactly like gotcha. I can go back into a game and I'll be stuck on there for fucking months,
Jet
years.
is definitely Caitlyn.
Jet is Caitlyn.
Caitlyn?
Yeah.
No, you're crazy.
No,
way. No,
Jet,
hell no.
No. I'm talking about comparing a League character, not she's League, but not Arcane specifically.
Okay, yeah, because the thing is, I'm staring at Valorant Jet because I just went to Google, search of Valorant Jet, and then the first thing I see from this character, Valorant, she literally has a sniper type of gun that she has, and she's aiming, and her type of clothing and style reminds me of a lot of a girl, Caitlyn from Arcane.
Ow, Caitlyn was a cop. She did not dress like that.
Yeah, no. Her outfit, her basic skin outfit, Caitlyn, in the game, just reminds me of like some, you said the word too, steampunk kind of, outfit, which I thought was funny. She had, the English accent to whatever, but the skin that always intrigued me, like I said in the previous episode, with her was with Officer. So Officer Caitlyn, and then you had the Officer Vi skin. So it was like the two of them kind of like were in sync. And I always found that funny, like, oh, it's cool. Who's the perpetrator? Who could be the criminal? Who else but fucking Jinx? So it's funny to see that going into Arcane and everything. But Vash, I asked you a question about
how. So the thing is, before Arcane season 1, nobody really knew. Like, everybody knew that Vi and Jinx hated each other, but nobody ever like knew a reason to it. Like we didn't know that they were sisters, um, or anything like that. Like we never had that context until Arcane came out,
Yeah.
and that essentially became the crux of their lore. It's like, yeah, these two are sisters, and essentially Jinx fucked all that shit up on accident.
Let me ask real quick before we move on. Jokester, have you seen any of the old trailers for any champions that released for League of Legends in the past?
I was going through a few of them, mainly like the characters you Amumu, because Amumu's depressing, Fiddlesticks, because Jesus fucking Christ, that's terrifying. Um, some of the others because like League lore interests me. So for a while I was watching like a YouTube channel who explained the lore, like Necrit. Shout out to Necrit, by the way.
I asked because I was talking about in the previous episode. I don't know if you personally seen it yourself, but Jinx, right? I don't know if you remember the end of season 1 Arcane. Uh, the missile going, into the council room and everything looks exactly like the character intro for Jinx when it released for her character in 2013, I believe it came out, 2014.
Was it?
Swear to God, if you were to watch the trailer right now, which has, I think, still has 53 million, probably maybe a little bit more
See, the
on
thing
YouTube.
is, when I found out, so before I found out what League of Legends was, I knew what Jinx was. Not because of her trailer, but because of corn with a P. Um, yeah, there was a lot of Jinx just
Lot of it,
before
yeah.
I even knew what League of Legends was.
Uh, uh, Rule 34 is a crazy place. Let me say,
Mm-hmm.
but
So
yeah.
I'm staring at the YouTube of League of Legends. I just searched Jinx League of Legends, and are you talking about the first one that dropped 11 years ago? It has 136 million views.
Probably that one. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, I said
Yeah,
53. I was,
yeah, you was 100 million off, but
yeah, 100
hey,
million.
you're still close. And funny enough, the thumbnail of this music video is literally rockets and her on top of one of them heading down the sky.
Yeah, so those rockets in the music video hits just straight up Piltover. But the analogy is when I saw it for the first time, watching Arcane season 1, I'm like, it's for the fucking music video. That's it. Holy shit! That's, I guess maybe that's where the inspiration came from, or they're just trying to mimic that in a sense, like the first time she ever did it, and now she's gonna do it again. Like, it's so many different possibilities with the universes of Arcane, of League of Legends. That's I just see this as so cool. It's like you can take one little piece of lore and it could become anything anywhere.
That's a beautiful part of it. So you know what? That's a good transition to us to the next segment of our conversation when it comes to Arcane, and that's the key themes. The key themes of what this episode of Arcane overarching arc. We have the family and sisterhood of Vander coming back as a beast, but then we have the sisterhood between V and Jinx, the complexity between them of what's right or wrong in their justice, the power struggles between the upper class of Piltover and Zom, the morality for Chase, Victor. We have the morality of Mel, her finding out the truth within her family, and the choices that all our characters makes that makes the domino effect. Like Jokester mentioned, we had Jinx cause all this accidental. So all these effects that we do as a human leads to consequences. And then the innovation and corruption of Hextech and Shimmer causing everyone of Zon to be affected by the consequences of people being corrupted by power or magic. So that's my question to you guys. Paul, what did you feel that you resonated most out of these themes of season 2 that expanded more from season 1 and just continue on to the stories?
So before I do answer that, I forgot to say this during my talk about season 1. And this is one of the reasons I wish I was here last week. Shimmer is just super fent. It is just super fentanyl, bro. It is super fentanyl that got perfected and given to Jinx. She had superpowers off of fentanyl. But
so that was kind of making me wonder how the hell this bitch was moving so fast in some of these fights. Like,
super fent.
Yeah, it was from the streamer.
You know the joke that
Vendor.
crack gives you superpowers?
Yeah.
Now make crack essentially an injectable liquid and make it purple, and it can also just like really fucking kill you unless you got Silco on your side, basically. Yeah, super fan.
yeah, because that threw me off a couple times. That I literally had to remind myself, like, did she inject herself with Shimmer, or did she have some type of ability back into one that I just can't remember? Because like during season 2,
No, she had the surgery. Remember with Sync? I think it was an explosion or something, and Silco put her in the operating room. Which
it was after the fight with Ekko.
Ah, yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, because when she was fighting Vander, I was like, how can she be avoiding like V? I get it, you know, V's about the hands, you know, and Jinx, she's all about the gadgets, but for her to literally be moving as quick and agile against Vander, like that shouldn't be. But then when I saw the animation having her fucking transport from here to go chung 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 chung, I'm like, okay, she must be having some type of super soldier serum. But that makes sense.
It made more sense for Jinx to be moving like that than Vi. Vi should not have survived anything the Warwick threw at her. Thank God for them fucking souped up gloves.
Oh hell yeah, those gloves save her. But as you were saying,
so if there's anything that resonated with me throughout this, is two. One, yeah, it's the family dynamic between Warwick, Vi, and Jinx. Because that was, you know, just extremely sad, extremely like hopeful for a bit. Like, and then my hope went all the way out the window when fucking Ambessa came back, but Jesus fucking Christ. But if anything, it was the sister relationship between sorry, I almost teared up again. Between Jinx and Isha, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Rest in peace.
Bruh, just being able to communicate with this girl off of like sign language and just the word boom, just oh my god, it was so adorable. Isha just looked up to her to the point where she became a false Jinx just to give people hope.
Yeah,
that bruh, when she stood up upon that motherfucking tower and pretended to be Jinx to give the protesters hope,
and most people knew. So they just accepted that this is what we needed. It's something that we could believe in. The hope, the House of L, you know, Superman, you know, believing in the S.
Yes, exactly. But in this case, you're just believing in the Jinx.
Yeah.
You're believing in what is known to give people bad luck. Because that's real, like, they wanted to survive, but also they hated the fucking Piltover. They hated the top side.
Yeah.
So they wanted, like, not only did they want good for them, they wanted bad for Piltover, essentially. Which is why they wished for Jinx to come back.
I will say this, as much as that, I think in the last coverage we did of season 1, I said my favorite out of the themes was family, sisterhood, power struggles. For this season 2, I feel like I'm leaning towards the morality and choices in innovation and corruption. Because innovation, scientists and people that believe in advancing evolution sometimes could be they could be our Achilles heel. They could actually fuck us over more than actually help us. You know, Chase and Victor, they believe in a cause that was greater good. They believe in a cause to save death, save the disease. But like I said it in the beginning of the show, there's the beauty in imperfection. When Chase was starting to come to terms that when he was telling Victor, we was trying to save and heal from your disease, from your leg. But those weren't weaknesses. It was the mind that was keeping you to think you were weak about it. Yes, you could find other solutions, but they were so strong with ambitions that sometimes your ambitions could corrupt you, and that's what it did. It corrupted Victor in such a horrible way that a future self of him or an alternate reality of Victor had to get chased to change that reality. that's the idea of it. And when it comes to morality and choices, we had to have the choice of Mel to make the decision to kill her own mother by finding the truth within her family and accepting her own identity as that she's not even a normal human, that she has her own power, which she has gold power and fucking. She reminded me of the girl from Bleach, Orihime, just more broken because with Orihime, her powers could attack and do offensive defense. With Mel, we don't know what else more she could do. It's so versatile, but her decisions is what made all this happen to decide to kill and her mom's life at the end, and that was the choice that she had to do. So I feel like this season was a lot of people's choices, and their choices sometimes were the wrong ones or not the right ones or the wrong time of one. So I feel like everything felt balanced when you also could see not everyone was wrong and but not everyone was right. The morality is like, who do you agree with? What type of mindset? Like, do I agree with Chase? Yes. At some point, I was like, my dude, go fuck yourself, because you're swinging this hammer, but not talking to people of who you just came back, and you just went through your whole trial by fire and living through hell.
I cursed that nigga's name when he came back, bro.
Oh hell yeah, me too. I was mad
when he came back and shot Victor, bro. I was cursing his name.
That shit pissed me off. It's like, wait, there's more to this, and us finding out by episode 9, by the end, that the person he saw in the black cloak this whole fucking time was a version of Victor. Like, the morality of choices is the death of anybody, because in most of the mediums, this theme always goes around as freedom or destiny. Two fucking, like, me just talking about it just gave me goosebumps. Like, knowing that, does your life, are you going by your choices, or are you going by the destiny that is already chosen and routed for you? That's a scary thought, because people just believe that we have the freedom. And that is a thought that Chase and Victor was trying to break. Victor was trying to take people's freedom away to give them the endless happiness, as in Naruto, where they went through the fucking 10 tree. Yeah, the physical scoop, man. We're like, that's insanity. Like, yes, would you rather be a slave and lose your freedom and be happy wherever, in what reality you believe in, or break that cycle and have your own freedom, but then your choices could still become bad because you don't know where is the domino effect could lead up to. Crash, how about you? Which is the theme that really resonated for you this one? Now season 2 has ended.
Last week I did say I couldn't choose. I would choose all of them. However, I'm looking at it objectively throughout the entire season 2 specifically, right? What has to be remembered, the main point of the show, like I said last week, was the point of Arcane was an idea, a rumor that, was told in the game that no one knows about, which was, is Revi and Jinx sisters? And going to season 2, I'm still having this, question linger in my mind. We know now that, they're siblings in some type of way, shape, or form.
From blood, it seems like it. Yeah, from blood, it seems like they're probably our sisters.
Yeah, and again, it was a topic that I had questioned you and Watkins before. Like, remember these things going into season 2 because they will be questioned. You saw that scene where Violet's mom was at the bar, with Vander and with Silco. Like I personally didn't expect to see that at all. Like that was a crazy origin story, a whole twist. Even Vander was a person, like the one named Violet. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
But you didn't expect to see them with Silk, because they even alluded. They told us in the first season that Silco was once their friend.
Yeah.
Yes. I just, it guess it crossed my mind. I didn't expect to see it at all in this arc. I was expecting to see more things. It was unexpected, but I should have seen it coming regardless, because there was more to the story that it was told in the first season. Mind you, for you guys who have binged it, for you it was like not time. For me, it was like 3 years later that I was waiting all this time to find out, okay, what's gonna happen after, season 1, what's gonna be season 2 like. So now it's like,
Wait, who binged it, bro? I watched it when it originally came out.
Yeah, but I say the only one that bench out of all of those, it was just Watkins. We're the ones that have watched season 1 when it first aired.
I mean, for those who had binged,
Ah, okay.
people out there, not us specifically, but just like me, watched it, binged it 3 years. But to answer your question about the theme, that idea of sisterhood, I tried to follow it from point A to point B throughout the entire show, and I really really want to say I was more into that theme than anything. Seeing how the character development for Vi and Jinx worked out, siblings will have their arguments, they'll fight, they'll even hate each other for a certain amount of point, but blood is blood, whether you really are related or not. When that's all you had all your life, that's all you know, that's your only family, it's hard to stay apart from each other. And I think Riot really did a great job of portraying their growth to the point of the end where even we should have said this in the beginning. I'm assuming Vash will say regardless. Huge spoiler alerts. Whoever has seen,
look. I didn't bother saying it in the beginning because look, we already promoted from season 1 coverage last week episode. Season 2 right here, I'm literally having the title, literally saying spoiler or on a thumbnail saying it. So if you coming in to see a 2-hour review coverage of Arcane, I'm hoping the audience chatters are literally watching it. Hopefully by then, so my hope. And by the way, happy Thanksgiving because people are watching this on Thanksgiving. So if you're watching on Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays if you celebrate it. Be with family, be with friends. So, part of family, part of sisterhood, be with your family on Thanksgiving.
Don't burn the turkey.
Yeah, don't burn the turkey. And don't have it dry either.
Fuck turkey. I don't like.
But yeah. So the theme of sisterhood, I personally was watching Point for Point B, and I just the fact that Jinx sacrificed herself for Vi throughout the entire notion that she thought she was a Jinx herself. To grow out of that to now, she
that we're aware of that she sacrificed herself. We're aware of. Yeah, we don't know if she went through a pipeline.
You know how it always goes with
until we see the body.
Yeah, it's not considered death, but just that fact that she was willing to sacrifice herself. It was always Vi protecting the little one. Now it was her turn, her chance to sacrifice herself for her sister. That was me personally for my team. I personally like seeing that growth. I like seeing that Riot continue to put that as the main focus, even though they had other themes with Jace and with Victor and their ideology of science. They thought that they made a breakthrough with Hex Tech, but it turns out it was the worst thing that could have happened. This curse, you have Heimerdinger seeing that he never learned from his mistakes with his pupils. You have, the whole problem with Piltover and Zon, with these hierarchies, I'm above you, I'm beneath you, and even Noxus, coming into the fray saying, I don't care, I'm on top of both of you guys. There's so many themes that go about it in so many ways, with betrayal, with redemption, with character growth. But the main thing for me personally was sisterhood. Like Vi and Jinx was the main reason I watched Arcane. Vi and Jinx will be the reason why I finished watching Arcane.
Well, beautifully said, because guess what? That transitioned us into Act 1 to setting the stage of what has happened prior to the ending of Season 1 with the rocket launching. We came back with the explosion aftermath of Act 1 of Arcane Season 2. We see who has died. The mom of Caitlyn, the other 2 counselor members. People have gotten injured. We see our girl Vi join the police force. They have their own squad. Victor turned into a messiah. And we end off with Act 1, ending off with Vi leaving the police force and finding out with Jinx and everything else at the end of Act 1. How do we feel about... I feel like Act 1 was the slowest on my end. It was more like a setting up everything to lead up to Act 2 and Act 3. I feel like Act 1 was more like a setup type of arc to kind of show us like the... what's the word I'm looking for?
The build up to what was to come in season Act 3?
Exposition. It gave us the exposition of everything that's going to lead up to Act 2 and Act 3. Act 1 was serving for that. How do you guys feel about that? Any thoughts on that?
ACAB. That's all I can say is ACAB.
ACAB?
Mm-hmm. With
What do you
Vi
mean?
becoming a cop along with Caitlyn them, ACAB. Fuck that shit. Fuck them cops.
Ah.
I was so mad when Vi put on that motherfucking cop uniform, bro. I was ooh.
But I get where she came from. When she first denied her, she was like, wait, like, I get her anxiety attack that she got at that moment. She was like, you are insane. You dead as asking me to be a cop, be part of your force, your team, when your people are the ones that dead ass kill my family, my parents, in the bridge and everything. You guys are the ones that murder my people. You guys going to take your badge, maybe under you guys, and then to tell people ahead of time, say, yeah, I got her to join us and everything, where a girl, Maddie, fuck you, Maddie, by the way, saying, hey,
We're
I
gonna speak
can't.
on her. We're gonna speak on her.
We will.
Don't
Don't worry. We're not gonna gloss that over. How Maddie just found her drunk on the street, and Maddie was like, "Hey, I'm very happy that you came to join us. We were informed, but I had to just be nonchalant. Like, yeah,
You're one of the good guys. Thank you.
like
Thank
you're one of the
you,
best
beautiful.
ones out there. I'm gonna take your bitch too. Appreciate you while you're gone."
Look, the only thing I got out of Act 1, from season 2, was that kiss scene with Vi and Caitlyn. That shit to me was hot. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. That was the only good thing about it. That's the only thing I really care for. I didn't expect it. I didn't ask for it, but Riot put some fire out in the beginning. I was like, oh shit, we're gonna be like that. Sneaky Links type shit. And the team knew too on the low, like something's going down. You see the shadows, hand grabbing and all that. And they still like, all right, whatever, we'll let them do the thing. That to me I liked. But overall, I had to disagree. I didn't think it was slow per se. I thought I think the best way to say it was a good build up towards Act 2 and Act 3, which made the show progress a lot more. What has to be understood throughout Act 1 of season 2 was you have to see the progression of the character growth with all these characters. With Chase realizing how he fucked up with Hextech, with Caitlyn, how she's gonna become a leader now that her mother's dead. With Vi, now that potentially she has lost her sister, to craziness, to the fact that she is literally a terrorist now. Victor, who is now a part of Hextech, that he's becoming something greater than himself, potentially not even himself. It was just a nice introduction to where everyone is, how they're growing into how they all end up and lead towards the end of Act 3.
Look, one thing I want to say is fuck Ambissa, because throughout the whole time in Act 1, Act 2, she was planning behind the scenes no matter what. She was moving her chess pieces. Like, she was always, I feel like Ambissa was playing 4D chess without nobody knowing, with the Black Rose, with the stuff that everything was leading up to. She was playing with what's his name, Sato or Salo, the guy in the wheelchair.
Salo.
Oh, yeah, Salo.
The way she played him so well, because in Act 1 she was saying like, hey, let's work together, I'll help you out, I'll be your back support and everything. And once by the end of Act 1, to get her to get Salo to rally up the troops, to rally the people of the houses, the council, to get them behind him, and where she could be the general of the advisor, she snaked him. She literally said, psych, not you, Caitlyn, Kirkman. Then, like, she gave him the ammo. The ammo was her last name is what brings value to the council. Once you hear that name, it gives shimmer,
Credibility.
It gives credibility. It'll shiver down your spine to be like, oh, that name is powerful. That name means something. And that's what he did. He played it into her hands, gave her the ammo, and once she advised Caitlyn and said her last name, everyone was questioning, everyone looking around, and guess what? The most happiest looking bitch out there that was right next to her, Maddie. She like, yes, you should do it. Yes, I support you. Nah, you didn't. You was planning all along. I bet you was job said go sleep with her. Yeah,
Hey Siri, play DJ Khaled. Congratulations, you played yourself, because that's exactly what had happened. I did not. I'm gonna be real with you, Vash. I did not care for that character, that senator. I could give a rat's ass about him. I didn't care they couldn't feel his legs after the whole explosion. Um, I feel for him because he was a means to an end. But of course, you need a character like that because without him, how would the plot have developed? So, he had brought significance to progress the plot forward, but I didn't give a fuck about him. I'm glad he got what was coming to him, honestly, and it's a shame. But at the same time, like you act like a dickhead, you're gonna get dickhead shit happening to you. For what goes around comes around. Karma's a bitch, whatever you want to say. So, yeah, fuck him too. I didn't care for him.
All right, all right. The other new character that we got introduced in this Act 1 is Isha herself. We got to meet Isha in the side story of Jinx going through Act 1 when the power of Silco in the underground of Zon was going chaos. Everything was going chaotic. There was no control of the underground. People trying to seize power on the fucking cat drug addict person. I forgot his name. I didn't have his name down.
He's a Yordle. I don't know his name either, but he's a Yordle.
Yeah,
He's
so
a Yordle?
Yeah. If anyone who has played the game, he's kind of like Khalid to me. Like, he's a little crazy. That's just what I got. But he's a
I
Yordle.
didn't even know he was a character in the game.
No, he's not. He's not. But like, to give an analogy for those who have played the game, he reminds me of the character Khalid in the game.
Oh, okay.
well, if he's a Yordle, he's definitely a drug addict because with the way he kept sniffing at purple shit and trying to jag and going insane, and he got what he deserved. He wanted too much power. He had no patience, and he wanted to capture Jinx and do what he did. But then Jinx had a little help on the side. We had our girl, what's her name?
I actually never learned her name, or I didn't remember her name. I just was calling her
Saveka. Saveka's her name. Saveka.
Oh, cool.
Saveka, thank you.
Big fist punchy lady.
That fight scene with the guy, the first thing I'm thinking of is that meme. Oh, let's go gambling. Oh man. Oh man.
dang it.
Oh, dang it.
Yo,
that's all I thought about all the time.
the beat in her, it was insane. How Jinx was like, put the arm, play the gambling. We're gonna do this thing. You're gonna hit the 037s, boom, boom, boom. And just a girl, Isha was just having a blast, just watching this, just standing next to her. And the girl Saveki was just annoyed. She like, bitch, you can't be fucking gambling my own damn arm. I'm trying to win a fight. Like, I don't got time to play this shit. I don't got time. I need to give the hands, not try to play Russian roulette.
I thought that was a cute twist to Jinx's, crazy inventions. Honestly, I that was cool.
Is Becky a character in League?
No, she's not. She's an original character from Arcane. To see that kind of animation after waiting 3 years in Act 1, that to me personally, that was like, right, still got it. There's no they never back down from how they're drawing their animations from day one.
You know what let me know that?
Demon.
When they did I think it was right before that fight scene we're talking about. But Jinx was working in the lab in her little place to build what we now know was the arm.
Mm-hmm.
And they gassed that bitch. And you saw
the theater.
Go in.
Yeah, the theater. Yeah, that shit was insane. I was about to bring that one up next.
Scene was so fucking fire.
It gave me anxiety.
It let me know that they knew they did not lose their touch when it comes to like actually just building a fucking building suspense, building a scene.
They're so good at that. Like,
oh my god.
The one thing that gave me the ibis throughout this whole 9 episodes, it was the 9th episode, or I think 8th, when Jinx was in the jail cell, or I think episode 8, after the demise of Isha, when Jinx was episode 9, when Jinx was playing with her nail and kept scratching herself. That, like, me children, I talk about that, it gave me goosebumps. That's the one. Oh my god, I just hate that feeling. Oh, her playing with her nail, that's the one thing that just disturbs me when I see that in any medium, no matter what. Just her playing with the nail. But the anxiety that I got from her.
Oh god, you saying other media just reminded me of fucking Higurashi.
Exactly. But when it comes to the anxiety that I saw of Jinx, one, she was scared shitless that she didn't expect to get jumped by a gas, which I give her props. She held the breath. I would have not held my breath that long and survived. So I give her the props. That's one.
It's a
That's
super fan.
The super fan.
it's a super soldier syrup. Understood. But her finding out that her sister is right there coming here to capture her, and for her to find out Caitlyn is there with her too, and to know that her sister is part of the army, the cops, of like that mind fucks you. And while she's trying to survive too, and her getting emotional during this, like that's just a whole 9 yards of emotional breakdown, and also trying to survive. That's a lot.
Hey, Cab.
You also know that like Riot still has a lot to touch where it was mentioned in the news, but it's good to break up here. I don't know if you guys remember the first couple minutes of the first episode of Act 1. The funeral scene of Caitlyn's mother was drawn all in charcoal.
Yeah.
The French animators who have made Arcane season 2, they did that all in charcoal. So everything you see animated, that was all drawn by hand. That is not CGI. That is not computer based. That is all hand. And that scene alone, if I'm not mistaken, someone can quote me if I'm wrong, was I think 60 seconds, max 120 seconds. To do that in a span of a couple of seconds takes a lot of time, years. I can see now why it took 3 years to fucking put, Arcane season 2, but just that scene alone, it's just a couple of seconds. To put that, in a show aspect, in like what Arcane episodes were like between 40 to 45 minutes. That alone, just to put a couple of seconds in, is crazy. So
yeah, I believe only 2 episodes were the shortest. I think one episode was 35 and the other one was like 32. But 2 episodes was the shortest. Other than that, each episode was about 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah, so running down would seem 30 to 45 minutes. But even then, like to put a couple of seconds with that amount of detail, that shows you the dedication. Like, it's hard to get great animation like that nowadays. And I don't mind to say that take, honestly. Like, there are good shows with a lot of good animation. It's hard to replicate something like that. It's hard to get originality.
And plus,
like
to have
that.
your own style, like Arcane is its own style now. The same thing, like it is, Into Spider-Verse, it has become its own style. Like each animation, it's its own style. Once you already have your groove, you can't really move on from that. And Arcane found this groove. When it comes to Act 1, is there anything that you guys feel was highlighted? Because one thing that you guys mentioned that really blew me out of the water when it comes to Jokester mentioning Victor. He became the fucking Messiah. Like every time this man put the robe and left and he was walking around, I feel like he just became Jesus. Like he literally just was walking around and just started to heal people. Of course, that's Act 2 and Act 3, but the way he just kept walking around and just started to say like, after he came out from the Hextech Evolve, he just told Chill like, yo, I'm gonna do my own thing. I don't need you. We have 2 different paths. Like, there's not a communication. Of course, once you just came out of a life-changing evolution from a alien artifact that you have no idea what it did to your body, and now you went from 100% human to 80% cyborg or type of fusion evolution of Hextech, that fucks you up in your mind. So how do you guys see the breakage relationship between Chase and Victor starting in Act 1 that's going to lead up later to Act 3?
I don't know what Jace thought was going to happen. Realistically,
what do you think will happen once you evolve your friend?
From the bottom up.
Yeah,
like you're rebuilding a man from the bottom up, and with forces that you don't understand. You didn't think that was going to change his mind, not even just a little bit?
You gotta remember too, in the first act, the first season, Victor was against like using the hex tech. He was like, no, like don't, I don't want nothing. Like he didn't want to be immersed in it. He told Jace no, and Jace still didn't listen to him and still put him in it. So of course, you reap what you sow. Like if whatever had happened to him, even if somehow he were to have died because of that, that's on Jace because Victor told him no. So honestly, you did it for your own greed in the sense that you wanted to know what would happen. So that's on Jace.
But that's as a person that's a scientist mindset, but also as a human, would you also want to lose your friend? Would you want to take the chance that this could actually save him instead of actually destroying him? Like, not saying Chase is right, but what he did is definitely wrong because you decide to break your friend's morality of him choosing not to, but then you decide to do your own choice and still do it. But in my eyes, like if I was in his predicament, in his shoes, would I still have done it? Yes. Because if I could say, for example, if Crash just started to be fusion with this fucking hex tech, me, I'll be like, I want to try to save my friend still, one way or another. Would this be coming back and bite me? Most likely. But I want to at least try.
So look, in the terms of the science aspect, and it's a great point you brought up, Vash. The main theme of that, ignorance is bliss. You know, you won't know what's going to happen unless you actually pursue it. And they pursued that with Hextech. There was no way Victor and Jace could have known that Hextech was going to become this big thing, this big curse, right? But then you want to remember, and going back to season 1, Heimerdinger warned them of the Arcane that not mess with it. Heimerdinger is a very old Yordle. He is hundreds of years old. He has experience, knowledge of it, right? So you want to go with this now, a new analogy. Respect your elders. If someone like Heimerdinger, someone who is knowledgeable, who understands more or less about things like that, you want to listen to somebody like that because now you had created something that you think is going to benefit the world, which actually turned out to be the worst thing possible.
But
and
then,
it's because of...
But then how can you be told by your master, telling your pupil, hey, this will come back and bite us, but not give an explanation? He said in season 1, I've seen this arcane affect other countries or other cities and has destroyed them. This could also happen if you play around with things you don't know. But how, as any scientist, as any engineer, as any person that's an entrepreneur, how can we not know what is the known without getting to know it? So they want to get to know the arcane, but Heimerdinger is saying, hey, don't play with this. It will come back and hurt us. But Heimerdinger never gave us more information, even to us, the audience, or even to his pupils. He didn't decide to tell them, like, hey, this will hurt us because A, B, X, and Y, and Z. Instead, he just jumped from don't do this to Z. Oh, because this has happened to many places. I'm not going to tell you the reason why, but I'm going to let you figure it out. And that's what they did. They figured it out. They played with the consequences. And then that's how we got here.
So the thing about that is, one, yeah, what you explained, it does make sense. Because that is my issue with a lot of old teachers in anime is that they, or anime or any real thing, like, I get that you're trying to sound wise, but I need details, my nigga. Like that's the main thing. I do need details.
Yeah.
But going back to like the original question, because I don't understand a scientist mindset, right? I'm not a scientist. I'm just a nigga who likes to play games. If a friend it's like looking at if you're CPR certified, right? You see a person having a heart attack and they have on them, do not resuscitate. Morally, you'd want to save said person if you can.
Yeah,
But they have on them, do not resuscitate. Therefore, leave that nigga alone. Let that nigga die. Victor said, I don't want to mess with this because I don't want to mess with my life for real. You should have let that nigga be him, like himself. So, yeah, no, fuck Jace.
No, yeah,
okay.
I see why he did it. That's his boy. And go back with that same analogy, right? What if that's like your best friend and it says do not resuscitate? Not even morally, like just me as a person. That's my best friend. I wouldn't want him to die like that. Of course, I'm not gonna listen. In that aspect, I understand. But then, actions have consequences. And that's a big thing that you need to take throughout the entire season 2 of Arcane. Like, every action that has happened up until this point has had consequences. Yeah. Jace unlocking the secrets of Hextech. Jinx, attacking Piltover with her massive,
I don't want to jump to Act 3, but then us finding out later that the same cloak person that gave the ruin to
wait,
Chase.
Let's hold on that because I want to speak on that. I do want to
Because
speak on
that
that.
just pissed me off because of what you just said, that Victor not want to play with it. But then I'm like, but then a future reality version of alternate person of Victor gave this piece to Chase at a younger age. At, I forgot, 8, 10 years old or 13 it was. But then now he's the one that made the future Victor want to play with reality. But then it still made him become the person that he is in the future cloak. Like that's like when it becomes to time travel or the different version of reality, it mind fucks you because in storytelling, it's very fascinating. In storytelling, because we are all going by what we believe in and what the idea of, you know, you going back 4 seconds or you going back in a different reality or you being, you know, in a different alternate universe, what it could do to you. Because I can't wait to break that down with what Ekko Hugs, you know, went through in Act 2. That is one of my favorite things, but that'll be in a whole discussion. But when it comes to Chase and Victor, it's like, I think when Victor died by Chase, when he shot him with a hammer in Act 3, he said a beautiful line saying that all sides are from the same coin. It reminds me of the guy of Two-Face from Batman.
Yes.
It's like both sides of good and evil, there's always a gray. You just got to know which side to step on to get the perspective of which one you're on. And that mind fucks you because Chase had good intentions. Just his actions just came with consequences. Victor, he didn't have no intentions. He just had curiosity. And that curiosity got him to where he is.
The only thing I'll say to that, which I agree with, I'm with you on that 100%, is I will speak more on that in Act 3 because I do have a lot to talk about with what you said with Victor. But for the most part, I do agree with you. Yes.
All right, so let's go move on because I'm ready to talk about Act 2 because I can't wait to tell you guys Act 2 is my favorite. Act 2, I love.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one. Holy shit. This is very shocking for me because I thought I was the only one. Act 2 is a major turning events in the story of alliance betrayals and the complexity of Jinx and Vi finding out about Victor / Warlock, finding out about people's betraying, and when it comes to Chase and Victor going in through their own training and trial of becoming the Messiah, and Chase going through his hell, I'll call it. Yeah. I don't know what like I felt like he was in the end of the time, like end of the world. Like if anybody watched the show Loki, I felt he was at the end of time for Chase. Like I don't know what's a better term or word for it.
Like the end of the timeline.
Yeah, like the end of the timeline. End of the timeline. There's no end, there's no beginning. You're at the end of point. But the theme, we see the duality of family and loyalty, where that is the crosses. And then we see the progress of trying to go and get revenge for killing one's mother or to save one's sister. How did you guys feel about this Act 2? Because my favorite is the story of Ekko. I think that was episode 5. Ekko's story is the one that kind of shocked me the most. But also, for anybody that goes through one reality, but then have to experience a different reality, and it just feels so different, but then they have to make it feel normal. And that's the scariest thing, because once you find out that Piltover, Zahn, they're all united in this reality. Vi is gone, but then he has a relationship with Jinx. Jinx is a whole different person.
That's Act 3.
That's Act 3?
Yeah, it's Act 3.
My apologies. My apologies. So that was episode 7. My apologies. So yes.
Yeah.
So let's just go with Act 2. Let's who's go first?
Let me speak on this real quick, because I did say before we had started the podcast, for those who had seen our previous episode, I did tell Watkins and Vash that we had brought up a couple of points about what had happened in season 1 going to season 2. One of those main points, one of my biggest things I was looking forward to for season 2 was Warwick, the origin of Warwick. it was already announced, teased, even with like the trailers going into season 2 of Arcane. And Warwick is a very iconic character in the game
Oh,
League of Legends.
really? I didn't know.
So
Mhm.
he is a jungler. He's from Zon. So it was very curious to see this character come into play. Like how does this character affect the characters right now in Arcane? To find out big plot twist that he is Vander, the father of Jinx and Vi. And how did it become to be Warwick? Through Sync and his experiments, because of the fact that he is trying to find the key of immortality to save his daughter, who ends up becoming Oriana, which you guys see at the end of Arcane Season 2. So
That also pissed me off, by the way. I can't wait to talk about in the Act 3 of like, wait a minute, so he actually got what he wanted done. And you're just going to leave it like that? But okay, we'll talk about that.
yeah, again, the ending I'm very upset about as well too, and I will speak on that going to Act 3. But the point of Act 2 was that introduction of Warwick. Like, hey,
Paint the town blue, or technically paint the prison red is what should have been called.
yeah, you see, Jinx going to Vi like, hey, Vander's alive. What the fuck? Like, you gotta come with me. And of course, Vi is not taking none of this shit. Doesn't believe it. Isha's with them. They're gonna go see Vander, what we think is Vander, and we see now like, oh yeah, he's alive. He's not the same person anymore. He is a whole different person. But Sync was explaining it really well. This is a person now, a man turned into beast, fighting his inner demons in a sense, fighting the continuing the will to live. He still had that will regardless. That's what makes him that strong of a man. Now turned into this bloodhound that can, sense any type of a drop of blood from thousands of miles away, which is not that far off in the sense with the game. It was nice seeing this character. I didn't like the way he looked. I kind of wanted him to be more hairier, I guess. The way that Warwick looks in Arcane looks nothing like in the game. I'm assuming because they want to retain that human aspect of Vander itself, which I understand.
Yeah, in the game, he looks like a straight up wolf.
Yeah, he does look like straight up wolf. I wanted more of that, and even which we'll speak on more in Act 3. He is a little more modified, more changed with that altercation from Victor.
They made him hot, bro.
He didn't need to look like that personally, but overall, it was nice to see the character. It was something we asked for a very long time. It was nice to see like Warwick's origins, how he came to be. That was so cool. Kind of sad too if you really think about it. Vander should have died right then and there, and in season 1 to now, like he was modified, experimented on to become this, subordinate for Sing as a means to end to save, Sing's daughter. Which, by the way, I didn't personally know going, into the show that Oriana was Sing's father at all. I didn't even know that in the game lore. So I might have overlooked that, whatever. So it was really interesting to know that. And I didn't even know that until somebody pointed it out with Sing's pocket watch. I saw the photo, when Ambrosio was looking at it, during the prison scene, whatever. And I didn't pay it no mind. It didn't click to me until I saw a photo on, online, like, that's Oriana. And I'm like, wait, really? But she looks normal when you look inside, the whole tube of, where she was staying. It reminded me of like Mr. Freeze, like the DC thing. Like, that's Nora Freeze. His wife just like stayed in the cryostasis. That's how I saw it. And I was like, really? She's sick too? And I guess like the only cure is to find out how to become immoral in a sense. So using Warwick's blood, the will to live, and Hex Tech to create Oriana, that was so cool. I just wish they spoke more on it. But Warwick as a character was nice to see. It was nice to have the little touching reunion between him, Vi, and Jinx, and then for them to go to where Victor's, little little area was with everybody who was, reformed, changed with Hex Tech. That was a nice little moment. Going all the way up to the end of Act 2 where, Ambrosia and the Noxus army was there to attack Victor. The whole fight sequence, Warwick going crazy and everything, him being like altered because of Victor's, Hex Tech, abilities. The person who stole away the show was Isha. She reminded me a lot of Timo, the little Yordle. It's not really, him, but it reminded me a lot of him in an aspect. But she stole the show with her Valorant act, rushing through the battlefield. And for a split second, I don't know if you guys heard, it was quiet. It was just her running through.
Yeah.
Everyone saw her.
The sound mixing in that scene was amazing. The sound mixing, the sound design, everything.
That alone just started to make me tear up, and I already knew. I know tropes. I know the ex machinas. I know what's about to go down, and I don't want to go down. I was spoiled a bit, so I kind of knew, but I kept saying, no, please, no, in front of my screen. Please do not do it. Her smiling and doing, the gunshot with her hand. I said, please, she's innocent. Why does Riot have to play with my heart like this? Why the fuck, Riot, you do this to me?
So,
and of course,
I was gonna say the one thing I was spoiled about. Not saying that you did, but on our thread about it, when I saw the meme of Jinx go to Powder, Powder to Jinx, and then Jinx to Powder, the actual small Powder. I was like, I saw the picture before I saw the episodes, so in my head it just went over my head. I didn't understood it. I watched the shows, then I went to a thread to re-see the pictures that I didn't see context. Then when I saw the meme, I'm like, oh, she's a Powder. She's gone. She's ashes. That's insane. That fucked me up. To continue on to where you're saying, I want to say Paint of Town Blue was my favorite episode, just by the story, by the animation, the sound effects, the tension, the suspense. Also showing us a ravaged animal beast hunting the smelling the red, and just showing him traveling and hunting and going to look for the doctor. Like, wants to smell the blood, he's just hunting, not stopping, and just going on the beast. I wish we saw Ambassa going through hands versus the beast, because she survived. I just wish that how she went down, or if she went down, or if she actually had a good fight. I felt bad for the prisoners who escaped, but then got murdered throughout the escape tea.
I ain't gonna lie, when Ambassa popped back up, I straight up yelled in Discord because I was watching it with some friends. I said, "She's alive!"
Me too. I thought she was dead. I'm like, oh, she's died. Yes.
They was like, "Why would she be dead, bro? She went 1-on-1 against fucking Warwick. The hell?"
I mean, realistically, I think it's an even match. I think she's just as strong as him. That's why I say quiet. I was like, I have no different. She should have went down for sure. If she was surprised, but past that, I think they're equally strong.
I don't care how skilled she was. She wasn't on super fent like Jinx. She should not have survived.
Exactly. She should not. She should not survive. Right. It's like girls fighting 5 or even 10 lions at once. That's how powerful this type of beast of a werewolf should have been. This was not even alpha. This is omega. How are you fighting this and survive? Not even an arm cut off, not even a scratch on the chest or nothing. All you do was a few cuts and braces. I'm like, nah.
And then that scratch on her mask, which was crazy,
which was cool. But instead of a scratch, I'd rather. How's that mask gonna be scratched a bit when fucking Warlock has claws of gold or metal, and you're gonna only scratch it and even cut it half off or some shit? Just scratch it deep. Nah, that to me was bullshit. But that was my favorite. And just to see Jinx actually come in and tell the heroes, your Messiah is here, or your big fat hero is here, she said. But then the most human emotion is they was kind of healing her by tapping. There's every time they passed by her, it was escaping. They touch her shoulder just to get that sense that she's real, just to get a sense that she came for us, and that was powerful. And every time someone touched, it's I felt like she was healing, understanding that if she actually accepts this, she could be the hero that she's meant to be.
Yeah, that scene definitely touched me, because you could tell not only was they kind of what's the word I'm thinking of, cautious to touch her, because they're like Vash said, is this real? Is she actually here to save us type beat? Because the last time that they thought it was her, it was Isha.
Yeah.
But yeah, not only that, it was just her fear of being accepted. You could tell, because when they were reaching out to her, Jinx Mind you, she shouldn't be afraid of anybody here because, once again, super fan. She should not be afraid of anybody here. You saw her flinch when they just went to touch her shoulder.
Yeah.
She's hesitating.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you should not have fear here. But she had that fear of being accepted by people that she went to go save.
And look, I know I'm emotionally attached to the show because each episode, I felt like I couldn't trust if there was anything good happening. Because I felt like once things was getting good, something's about to fuck it up. Deadass. That's what I felt. Like, while I was watching, I was calm. But my heart was beating fast. I was like, nah, it's too good. Something's about to happen. Something's about to happen. Like, somebody's going to... Like each episode, it didn't even stop. Every episode, 1, 2, act 1, act 2, act 3, my heart was beating fast. I was like, shit's happening. Somebody's going to get killed. Somebody's not going to fight. Somebody's not gonna survive. Like, even in Act 3, I said it behind the scenes about the tank dude. He shot an arrow. I literally asked myself, oh, he dead? No, he's not. He can't be dead. Just shot an arrow in the neck. In my head, I watched too much anime to think that he didn't die. Because in my head, I'm like, oh, he might survive. I'm like, no, bro.
There's no way.
There's no way. Logically, he's a human. He's a human that just got shot in the neck. We're that fragile as human beings to get shot in the neck and just die.
Like, I saw that shit happen. I yelled the loudest. No, I ain't even remember bro character. I just knew he was cool with Vi, so he was cool with me.
Exactly. I just vibe with him because he was going out in the bar. I think in episode 5 in Blisters and Bedrock. He was literally going out with her every single night while Vi was drunk and losing self-doubt, losing herself. He was accompanying her. We show a montage of even them arguing and him just saying, whatever, fuck you, do your thing. And she just kept going to the bar herself, came back and everything. But that was a true friend to still be there with you through the thick and thin, day after night. Bro got shot in the neck. And I was like, what? Like, I'm gonna get attached to these characters and just a shot in the neck and they're gone. But then Jinx could get thrown around by a werewolf and she ain't die. But dude could just get a shot in the neck. Like, what's the plot armor for him? I like him.
He wasn't on Superfan.
Yeah, he wasn't.
But Paul, Jokester, what was your favorite of Act 2? I said about my paint on blue. I said about the blisters and Bedrock. Crash spoke about the message hidden within the pattern where they went there and they started the war. What did you feel about Act 2 itself? Was it your favorite like us?
It was not my favorite per se. Mainly just because I loved all the... Episode 9 kind of just like blew me away, high key. And honestly, I love the entire third act, so yeah, no. Act 2 wasn't my favorite, but I can confidently say my favorite moment of Act 2 was the group hug between Warwick, Jinx, and Vi. And then when Isha ran up, I bawled, bro. I bawled. I was no good. Isha running up was the perfect cherry on top to that shit.
It was. Was very sad
because I just see Isha like a tiny like powder.
Yeah,
like she was back to powder, but this time just mute. And it's like
no, but thing is, she was powder because even Vander confused her as powder.
Exactly, and oh my god, it was so fucking touching. So that's why when she motherfucking died trying to take out a rampaging Vander, I legit turned my computer off.
I literally had to pause and literally staying silent for a couple minutes. I was like, damn, she reminded me of that one scene that is in Captain America, the first one, where Cap had to jump in to the fake grenade, where he told everyone to stay back. He'd rather sacrifice himself to save others.
Mm-hmm.
Isha decided to sacrifice herself to save Jinx, and that's what she cared about, to see the family. And she knew she was the one to take out Vander because his 2 daughters probably couldn't at that moment.
I just
Bruh.
want to put out for the record that like I've only had 2 animation stories made me cry
In the past
as a
3
man.
weeks.
Yeah. No, in general, this whole year alone, the first one was Don to Don, episode 7, with Acrobatic Silky. The second one right after that was Arcane, Act 2, episode 7, episode 6, excuse me. That I at the end of it, I'm tearing, and my girl had to ask me if I was okay, and I said no, I'm not okay. That Riot does not have to play with our hearts like this, and yet they do a phenomenal job playing with our emotions with original characters that are not even in the game. That's what
Exactly.
drives me so crazy.
And like I said, I had to turn my computer off because like the funny thing was because I wasn't playing it myself. My friend was playing it and streaming it through Discord, and he was muted, and so I couldn't like be like, friend, pause, please stop the thing. I couldn't do it. So my next thing, I just pressed the power button on my PC.
Damn, you just straight to power, not even like close Discord yourself or disconnect from the voice call. You just said fuck the whole system.
I couldn't think. I was too busy crying. And then I get like, as I'm just sitting there, like, damn, that just happened. 2 minutes later, he messages me, "You all right?"
By the way, chat, I know we haven't spoken about them, but I'm saving them for last for Mel and the other Black Rose stuff. I'm saving that for the Act 3 because everything from Act 1 to Act 2 kind of led off and really kind of spike in Act 3. So I'm kind of just saving that conversation for us to get into in a few moments. But another highlight that you said was the hug of all them hugging together. I wish I could just stay there for longer for that moment. Once I saw that hug of Vander accepting that he's the werewolf beast he is, and his daughters, and even in episode 6 when Singh or I forgot who was there that's trying to fight, I think the sword dude, the right hand man of Ambasa. He even
I still don't remember his name. I surprisingly, I should probably know that. I don't remember his name.
yeah, I just know that he has a long spear sword type of shit. So that's all I remember him. It was insane that once he literally spoke and said, "Get away from my daughters," I was like, "Oh shit, he's back! Oh shit, he's back!" But the motherfucking Chase had to come back and just fucking threw like a shotgun blast to fucking Victor, and then my heart dropped. My heart dropped once the little dome place turned red. My heart dropped. I was like, no. All that work and all that dedication and effort for Victor to come back just thrown out the window. And now we're about to have a fight. And that literally had my heart drop. Just that red image of his thing just turned from green to red. It's like, hey, green, he's good. We got him. He's almost there. He's almost fully at a breakthrough from getting his mind back. But nope. In a couple seconds,
fuck Jace.
gone.
I feel like Jace has gone through a lot, and you don't know his struggle until seeing Act 3, which again we will speak on. But at that point, I will agree. I did not like Jace for a little bit. I'm like, you're acting like so reckless. So you're not acting like the Jace we knew in season 1.
Agree.
You're more calm, collected. You have like a plan, idea in mind. Here, you're just like, I don't give a fuck. I got some facial hair. I got a modified hammer. I'll do what the fuck I want. Just trust me. Like it's not. It's two different people. Two different Jaces. And I didn't like how he was, but it's not until you get to the very end as to why he is acting the way he is. At that point, I'm like, okay, I can see it now. I get it. You have a lot riding on this show. Literally, you have to save it. Of course, I get where you're coming from. But
then he didn't even say shit. Ekko did, but
yeah. Which again, I was gonna say, but Act 2 again, just like with Act 1, was a building point, headed towards Act 3. And it's a shame how it ended. I was like, I wonder how it's gonna, at the very end of Act 2, there's a little trailer for like what's gonna happen in Act 3. So I was like, oh, a little bit of spoilers. Okay, something's gonna happen. Something big is gonna happen. I wonder how could it end.
I want to say also I just love how Act 1 we see Vi and Caitlyn kiss. We say, oh yes, girls, we support your love. Then ending of Act 1, they break off because because of different choices and morality. Act 4 starts. Was anybody thrown off once we saw Caitlyn?
That dirty Mac and dumbass, fucking orange hair, little pixie girl.
Hold on.
I was thrown off. Look, I'm gonna say I was thrown off when I click on episode 4. Then I see both of them in bed. I'm like, bitch, you move on quick.
Wait. You guys need to remember, and I know if some of the viewers, chat have binged it, they might have missed it. It's hard to forget. But in season 1, I think Vi and Caitlyn had an argument or something, and they were apart for a while. Caitlyn was doing some other sus stuff with some other women. I don't remember what episode it was. I think I want to say it's towards the end. But she was for the streets, pretty much, is what I'm saying. Caitlyn has and always will be for the streets. She's not loyal.
Also, she even said it. Even Ambassa said it earlier when I think it was in the end of Act 2, I believe it was, when she was talking to Vi. Yeah, in episode 6, Ambassa said, I'm glad you went around with Caitlyn because you wasn't there. A void need to be filled, and I was that void to be in the business side, and Maddie was in the bedside. She even said, don't entangle with your profession.
Yeah, she said the word. I was so pissed when she said entanglement. Bitch, you do not know the first word of entanglement. You was not there for Will Smith and Jada Smith. Don't even. I was
laughing. That word always triggers my memory. When I heard it, don't entanglement your profession. I'm like, really, guys? We're gonna use that word? Okay.
Yeah, my chest.
Right was playing with me. I said, you had the audacity to say that word? Okay. You know what?
Look. Once they used that word, I didn't trust Maddie. Once she used that word, I didn't trust Ambassa or Maddie because that word now has baggage, and it shows. And it shows because you didn't trust Ambassa Maddie from Act 1, Act 9. It shows.
Professional entanglement was the word she said. Yeah,
none of them to be trusted. So it shows that the character. The point I'm saying all this, jokes aside, is that Caitlyn is the type of character that she needs someone by her side to feel complete. So once Vi left her, she needs to be with somebody else. And Maddie came along. And that is that purpose. And that's not good for a character like that who's going to be a general to fucking like families and armies. In that mental state, you should not be like that. You shouldn't rely on somebody to be your mental holder when you yourself don't know how to be independent as a leader. That actually could backfire, and it did.
I really hate Maddie, bro. Fuck that bitch.
I'm gonna speak on that on Act 3. I want to hold off my thoughts. I'll let you guys say. But the final thing I'll say for Act 2 is Isha. One final note. I don't know if you guys know. It was something I found out through social media, but her name has a lot of significance. Not in the League of Legends game. So the definition of Isha is the one who protects. So, just at a glance, you're like, okay, she's gonna protect something. But the real idea of Isha is this is a character that's gonna protect not just Jinx and her, loss now that she doesn't have Vi anymore. This isn't a person that is just watching over, this crazy terrorist that's wanted in Zon, pretty much. This is a person that's actually protecting both the city of Piltover and Zon. Because when you think about it, these two cities are clashing with each other in Act 2 in the end. Not really including the Noxus, soldiers and whatnot. But without Isha, I feel like this show would have ended a lot more faster and could have gone a whole different way. Isha was pivotal to help out to show Jinx that there is redemption through your actions that you've done. There's always redemption. Not being the worst person or the worst action in the world doesn't make you a villain forever. You always change to become a hero. She was a hero in her eyes, in Isha's eyes. And even through the end with her sacrifice, she wanted Jinx to know that no matter what happens, you can still be a hero. Don't ever forget that through her actions. And I think that her sacrifice is what motivated Jinx to behave and act the way she did in Act 3, which I know Vash you want to speak about with that aspect that we spoke about with not Vander, with what's his name? Who's the villain in Act 1? Silco. With Silco. Yeah. We're definitely gonna speak on that, but she is the one who protects. She protected everyone in that scene. Nobody else did that. She did it all herself, and we have to give more credit that is due, honestly.
To add to that point to Isha, I love that she means to protect, and it shows that every person, any human, I feel like has a lightning rod. Even if anybody that watches The Flash, I use that reference because you could go to the speed of light and lose yourself in the Speed Force, but then you need somebody to ground you, somebody to bring you back. Jinx lost herself because she threw a rocket to a tower of the Council of Piltover. She didn't know the consequences. But with all that, she was losing her identity. She lost Silco. Even in Act 1, she went back to the same warehouse of where Silco was at the same time to put the same injection shot on the eye. She said same time, every day, same place. But with her losing Silco, another father figure who was her original parents, Vander, now Silco's gone. She has nobody to look to motivate, inspire, learn from. She has none of that. But then accidentally, the Super Fett continues helping her out, where accidentally, while in the cause of all this trouble, she saved Isha, and Isha was inspired by Jinx as a person into what she does. And so far, it worked out. Isha joined Jinx's life. We had a fucking insect battle in episode 4. The start of the show was this chick literally.
I thought that was so cute.
It was cute. I honestly thought it was real. I thought we were getting the thing from Star Wars in episode 1 where fucking Anakin Skywalker does his little thing of the spot racers. I thought we are getting a little actual action thing, but it was a monologue of a personal YouTube channel of Jinx and fucking Isha. It was adorable.
The thing about those bugs is that they're actually mobs in League of Legends.
Yeah, the Bramblebrook. If you play jungle, you know who they are.
Oh,
I saw that, and you guys probably have never played the game, but Daxter on the PSP, they reminded me of the bug battles you had. So I was like, oh, they're gonna fight, and then it's like, oh, they're fucking small. Man, I was expecting some like hardcore, like, oh, we're gonna get into like some like really, really like intense.
Yeah, I was expecting that too, but when it showed them being small, I was like,
I was blue balls.
I was blue balls. Yep, I was mad about that.
Like, bro, I thought because it reminded me of when, short story about young Paul, right? I live in North Carolina, and I had a creek beside this old lady, Miss Doocy's house, right? Now, the thing is, we would all gather at that creek, pick up crayfish, basically mark it with a marker to show which one is ours, and then do crayfish fights.
Oh, that sounds... did you win?
Won a few. I low-key treated it like Pokemon.
You gotta treat your Pokemon right. You gotta feed it good, give it the red candies.
Was it inhumane? Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were kids. We didn't care. And that's essentially what we got when they were doing the Scuttlebug fight with Isha, and it was fucking adorable.
Yeah, that was a nice little callback to the game itself. A shame they didn't do anything else with it, but it was nice. Like you don't really expect to see those things going to every episode's always gonna bring something new to the table. So go into the show every episode like with an open mind, like, oh, what is Riot gonna throw at me now that's gonna make me go wild? And
I mean,
I
not
saw
to
that.
mention in the game, they're people sized. Like those bugs are fucking human sized in the game.
Oh nah,
Yeah.
nah. I don't like
Yeah,
spiders. Nah.
they're a mob
You
in the
don't
game that's
know.
human sized.
Oh, you don't know.
No.
Wait until he sees Baron, guys. He's not ready for Baron.
I don't know who Baron is. Baron could crash and burn in a pits of hell. It could be stuck in purgatory. I don't care. That's all I'm
Does
saying.
he know?
I can't wait for you to play this game and see this guy.
I can't wait either, because you know what it's time for is for us to transition into the explosive finale of Act 3. And you know what that entails? To talk about the actual thing of, may not be my favorite act, but we're going to see, in my opinion, changes the more we talk about. But my favorite episode, episode 7, pretend like it's the first time. Episode 8, the killing is a cycle. And 9, the epic finale, the dirt under your nails, is what Vi said to Caitlyn at the end, that she will be the dirt under your nails. I will never leave. For me, episode 7 was my favorite. You know why, guys? Like I said it in the start of our Act 2 conversation. If you go through your reality, the current one you live in, but then somehow get transported into a different reality, into a different body, to a different hairdo, same person, same identical body, but different personality and everything, and you gotta act the same. The guy that you time travel with, Heimdallr, he's been here for 1,000 years and 1,000 years and 28 days or 28 months or some shit. So he's been already here long before you and living his life, and now you have to pretend whatever's going on. You have here a girlfriend that's Jinx, and it's awkward as hell. You was mean to her and everything, and you have to understand that this is not your reality, and to understand that now you have the concept that this is not just one reality, that there is multiple. But the idea that the same job that he gave them all those years ago in the original season 1 act 1, he gave them their job, and instead of them making a whole big mess and somebody in trouble, somebody died that night, and it was Vi. That was my favorite episode 7, and just seeing him accepting to date Jinx by the end of the episode.
Was that not? I'm sorry. Was that not episode 8?
No, that's episode 7.
No, that's episode 7. I'm seeing it right now on Netflix. Right now, I'm seeing it like.
Okay, I just want to make sure. Like, I know. Episode 7, it started off with Vi waking up in the hospital, like, oh, what happened with Jinx? Where is she and everything?
You know, that's episode 7, because what he's talking about is like the backstory of when Ekko went back in time. That all happened in episode 7.
Yeah, that's all after like
Really?
so the first half and the second half. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. Okay.
It was that's the thing. You think it was so beautifully paced that you thought that was a different episode. The show paced amazingly.
It's very well balanced. That's one thing I would give to the show. The show really does know how to balance it very well, with everything involving, intertwining one another. Like what happened with Ekko was my favorite, because it mindfucks you, where Ekko had to understand that this may not be his people, but this itself is a different reality where he cannot just let them be whatever. Once he came into the portal and was about to be transferred, which the guys explained to me, I thought Heimerdinger was alive that transferred with them. No, Heimerdinger died in the process when he escaped and said, I'm gonna give you more time, and he vanished, or he sacrificed himself. So that threw me off. I didn't know that. I just accepted death for the little shorty motherfucker that wasn't a major character, but he was an important character, that he had 2 pupils, and I literally wrote on the thread, Heimerdinger, stop having pupils. Your pupils continue causing shit. They continue.
You know, it's funny you bring that up too, because then I go back to that whole argument with Jace, right? And even Victor, right? You gotta respect your elders, right? That's the big difference between Jace and Ekko. That's why Heimerdinger respected more Ekko than he did Jace. You know, he saw Ekko as a man of science too, but Ekko also understands the dangers of the science. He knows the limitations, the boundaries. He knows when to push and not push. And the reason, looking in Act 3, why Heimerdinger actually helped him, because originally he was not with it. He was like, there's no hex tech in this new alternate world that we are in, this universe. There was no way to have known. Ekko could have stayed in that potential parallel universe and just do his own thing. But the trauma that he had gone through up until that point couldn't stay with him. He knows that in his world, there is people that need help still. He knows that there's a danger. He is willing to sacrifice, at least, maybe I would say his own humanity, his own self for the world. Whereas with Jace, he was just trying to discover potential ways to save the world, and he didn't care for the consequences. Those were the differences that Heimerdinger saw himself between these two characters, and he knew Ekko would be the one that would change the world. And that's why I fucking love Heimerdinger for him, because my boy Ekko, I don't care what anybody says, besides Isha, Ekko's the one who stole the show. He's the one who saved the world the way
Ekko
that
literally saved the world.
Yeah,
He did. He literally did.
This is why he's my main. That's my boy. He went through hell and back. If you really want to argue me with that,
he did.
In this parallel universe.
In this part of the universe, look. One more thing to add, because I really want to hear your take on this episode 7 itself as well. Knowing that, agreeing to your point, Crash, that when he told Heimerdinger, you can only go 4 seconds. 4 seconds on a max. Chase will try to break that. Chase will say, let's try to see 5, 6 seconds. What would have happened? Chase will be that type of character. Say his curiosity will go over him. But for Ekko, he don't want to break limits. He rather just stay at the boundaries. If 4 is our max, that's where we're staying. And it was beautiful to see that, because he literally just saw in those 4 seconds, he saw Heimerdinger.
He saw Heimerdinger die.
He literally did.
He's like,
that, bro. Even if you saw it, that fucks you up in the head, because right after that, Heimerdinger said, "How do you know?" He's like, "I know. Trust me. 4 seconds is enough." Like he didn't want to say it. I felt like he was gonna throw up if he said the truth, that I saw your death.
Yeah, and that's the difference between Jace and Ekko, because Jace literally fucked with a nigga's life because of his curiosity.
His own
Ekko
boy
saw that, this will kill y'all. So let's not push his behind back. Like, let's not.
And like just so that, right? Like Ekko could have. There was a chance where you could just drop everything and stay where you are, because in this world, hex tech was not invented, so like everything is still kind of normal-ish. Like there's no technological advance in Piltover. Everyone's still kind of the same in that aspect. You see returning characters, the old crew, from Vi and Jinx's childhood. I forgot their names.
I screamed when they came up.
They look funny to me. I like seeing the guy with the mustache.
The fucking mustache.
Yeah,
oh my God. That didn't work for him.
No, it didn't work for him. But he was trying to get.
I felt like we were in a Renaissance industrial type of outfits, like a steampunk type of vibe, because it was giving me that type of wardrobe.
Yeah, the entire thing was steampunk. One of their names was Milo. I forgot.
Yeah, Milo. Milo. He has bad game. He has horrible game.
Bro, when his voice cracked,
he was so shy. He like, hi.
My boy, that's all you got?
Shout out to Powder.
Yo, Powder came in. I love how he's both like,
homie,
can you please go help him out? Can you please go help him out? He's about to embarrass himself. And Powder's a smooth talker. She's a smooth talker. Like, hey, so my boy wanted to check out you guys in the concert. Can you know more about it? He's like, oh yeah, of course. Yo, Powder was smooth.
Clagger, that's the other guy.
Clagger,
Milo and Clagger.
If I were to actually rename that whole episode, I wouldn't even call it, pretend it's like the first time, or even Killing's the Cycle. I would call it What If, but League of Legends version. That's literally what it was to me. It was like, what if Ekko actually stayed in his universe? He had a girlfriend. He actually became a good inventor, like a genuine inventor. That actually his character in that universe actually could have revolutionized.
Oh, how much? He probably be a better version of Chase in that universe.
Exactly. That's exactly the difference between scientists, the type of science man that Ekko was, and Jace was. And even if you guys remember Act 2, Episode 1, when Jace and Ekko met each other, they did not like each other at all. The only reason they kept each other like okay was because of their teacher, their mentor, Heimerdinger. You know, it was for the respect of him. But you take that man away, they were going to throw hands. Like, who the fuck? Like, I know I'm smarter than you, you're smarter than me. Like, I saw that tension, I saw that friction, and I'm like, okay, but why? And you see it now. It's because they believe their ideologies are better than each other's. And
I get what you mean by that, but it was literally just the rich versus broke dynamic.
You know what? Yes. It was that too. It was that like,
Ekko just hated him because like,
you're right.
I'm in the slums, bro, and you up there fucking shit up.
Yes.
You're up there.
No, my favorite.
Dirty.
Yo, my favorite response is when Chase asked him, "How do you know this? We didn't teach nobody down there about this technology." He said, "You know, some of the stuff I pick it up, I learn it, and the other stuff I don't know, I don't touch it." Literally his response: "The stuff that I don't know, I'm not gonna bother by stuff that I don't know." I'm like, once he said that, I'm like, Chase, maybe you should learn like a lesson from Ekko. Stuff that you don't know, the unknown, don't fuck with it. Just don't fuck with it.
I will say, there was a bit of like a racist joke to be made there, and I'm very, very, very surprised Riot didn't go further with it. Honestly, I let it be. I was like, damn. I'm
gonna keep it a buck with you. Because let's just take what I told you about my experience playing League those first 5 games. I don't think Riot wants to touch a race relationship.
No, for sure. It's right. That game's rating sucks as it is. 100%.
I don't think they want to touch that. But I will say, because I yelled it out during the last episode, this show got saved by Black excellence twice.
100%. The white man had to fuck it up, and now, you know, the minorities have to go and fix this. That's crazy. But, you know, that's just me overall.
Look, speaking about our Black excellence, let's just get into it. We have our character Mel.
As hell. Fine as hell. God almighty.
I have a lot to speak on her. I'll let
let's
you guys go first.
Mel, the Black Rose. All I could say is, every time we kept hearing the Black Rose, I kept triggering my memory of anybody that have ever seen Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds.
Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D, Black Rose Dragon.
Yes, Thank you. Yo, Apollo, I love you. You literally read my mind before I even said it. I was like, yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! 5D.
Because I was thinking the same shit.
Yo, the thorns, every time they went into the phantom shit, the thorns came out and everything. I'm like, okay, all that's missing is like a black dragon. You have the black roses, you have the black thorns, it has everything little reddish pink. All that's missing is a black rose dragon.
If they would have did that, I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh! Would have been able to sue, but...
True. But Mel storyline in the Black Rose, I'm not gonna add too much right now. I'm rather you guys speak, because I am lost as fucking shit. That's all I'm gonna say. That Black Rose shit confuses me, because all we got was clarification that her brother got killed because her mother ambitious of taking her pride over her kids, is from my understanding, and the bastard kid is Mel. That's my assumption, understanding. If anybody wants to correct me right now, go ahead, you got the floor, because I just love Mel the character and her story, and she became like OP character and hella beautiful. Other than the story beats that we got from Act 1 to Act 2 to Act 3, confused the shit out of me, so go.
All I can think,
go. I was gonna say go first.
If I remember anything correctly, essentially, Ambressa fell in love with, I'm guessing, somebody of the Arcane, and they had Mel, which is why she's linked with the mages or whoever the fuck gave her that damn necklace. But pretty much because of her falling in love with that shit, some shit got punished, which is why she ended up losing Kino, whatever the fuck his name was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's literally, like, I think that's kind of all the explanation they gave us. that wasn't just long-winded exposition.
Okay, Crash, want to share some lights? Is there any more information you can add or tell us your thoughts on it?
So this is gonna be a very crazy take, and I apologize for you guys and to chat and to the viewers in advance. Right? I think Mel is an amazing character. I hope she comes to the game because she's not currently, out right now in the actual game itself. I would love to see her as a support character for League of Legends. But honestly, I did not give a fuck about her origin story or anything with Amberosa with the Black Rose at all because uh the thing about the Black Rose in the actual game of League of Legends itself is it's a little bleak to say the least. There's not a lot of characters, mind you. I'm talking, from somebody who has not played a game since 2020, so my information is way off. But from what I remember, there was not a lot of characters that surrounded themselves with the Black Rose organization, the Black Rose group, whatever. You had League of Legends characters like LeBlanc, Shimura, that I personally remember that associated around them, and I don't know much about them lore wise or even with the game itself, past the fact that they're an organization that surround themselves as mages. That is it. Even the character who we see, that talks to Mel, the shady character, that leader, whatever, of Black Rose.
Uh-huh.
It was even theorized. Even I thought it might have been LeBlanc. We might have seen something like that, but it turns out from what I've read online, from what I've seen in as theories, forums, whatever, we don't really know who that person was. I don't think we'll ever know anymore. We can only assume. But the Black Rose group is not really spoken about in the game. So the fact that it wasn't really explained more in Arcane kind of like disappointed me to say the least, because it's like you have an original character like Mel, and all you know is that, like you guys said, Amberosa had had done something with a mage, we can only assume, who dabbled with the arcane, gave birth to Kino and Mel, and Amberosa's story of how she lost Kino is sad, right? But it, why the fuck should I care if you're not going to elaborate more on her past and everything? It's like, oh, she did some sly shit on the side. She dabbled in the streets a little bit. Okay, cool, but elaborate more on it, because I don't know enough about this group to to care. You know, maybe it has been elaborated more in the game since 2020, and if it has, then I'm just behind and I'm not aware about it. But if it hasn't, and I would know because I try to surround myself with the information of League of Legends, I think it would have been known by now, or even someone would have said something online. But because it's still being theorized, nobody has a straight answer about this. To me personally, I don't give a fuck about Mel's origin story. Really, it's cool to see her. 100% agree. She's hot. Her character, design, and everything, amazing. But past that, like, really, okay, you're a mage and you have light powers. That's it. Like, why the fuck should I care? Like, what else do you bring to the table besides like you're omnipotent? You can see, past, these illusions of other mages. Like that. That's it. Like, I want to know more about the
My
origin
question,
of Black Rose.
my question is
Mhm.
for clarification in case chat is also could be confused or lost. Is the arcane as the magic of this world, or is arcane the terminology of mages and magic?
That is a great question. I believe it is the foundation of magic in the world, because you have things like runes, like the spear, the Noxian soldier, I forgot his name, but in the spear he had runes that glowed. That pertains also to the arcane, the runes that Jace and Victor were trying to decipher. Even Sky too, if you shout out to Sky if you guys remember her, who was Victor's secretary, friend, whatever. They were also trying to decipher these runes, these glyphs. Those pieces of magic do pertain to the arcane, which yes is a form of magic that is used in Ruteria, in the whole world. It is used in a variety of ways with different kinds of races. Um, is very old, very ancient, going far back to the creation of Ruterra. But yeah, it's very to answer your question, yeah, it's just straight magic. It's the
Yeah.
basis of like what makes a mage learn magic, etc., etc.
Also, big dude's name is Rictus.
Yes, Rictus. I remember.
Did
They
not
said a
care
couple
enough for that man to care.
Yeah, he was a guy that he was more like the right hand man, but he didn't speak so much. He was more like the grunt, the strength, and he was a slash and his own ruins of like some type of tablets or tabloids had its own rune as well that had his spear of magic, but that's about it. But Rictus, it triggers my memory, so I remember you. So I remember you earlier. You was a forgotten soldier that triggered the anger of Ambassa to start war.
So yeah, so to the Black Rose part, I didn't care enough about Mel. I was it was nice to see, she was, this part of the council, to now finding out that she got captured by the Black Rose because she, in some type of way, shape, or form, is connected with, her mother Amberosa, and her family has some dark history. To find out that she is a mage with powers that is going to be used to help, Piltover, and stop Amberosa's, war with them. I didn't care enough about it. Like it was cool to see, but I wanted more lore, more
Same.
information.
I wanted more about it. And that's I wish we got more. Like even that's why I'm mad no season 3. Because like I would like to see what type of power she could do more with it. What does she plan to do with her type of powers that she has, and what could it lead up to? Like all we got was a origin story of her finding out from the accident from the end of Act 3, Season 1, the rocket, that she defended herself with Chase, but it was not by choice. She just did it spontaneous. It was just a power that just came and she just protected. Even Chase got mad. Why can you save everyone? She even said it. Bitch, I couldn't. I save you and me. Be happy I save you and me. We lost people. I didn't know I was going to protect us. It happened. So it was pretty interesting that we learned that. But then she has the ability now to have a better control of her powers. But then we don't get to see more of that, where it's going to lead up to in season 3 or 4, because we're never going to get that. So that's a part that hurts me, that we got to see a cool character, beautiful character, a fan favorite, and we're not going to be able to see more of it unless she gets added to the League of Legends game. Great. But then we're never going to get more story of her in an animation format that we know of. So that's the thing that sucks, when we get a bit of her, more story, now she has powers, and now she's a mage, and then that's it.
What I will allude and say, more or less, if you guys pay attention at the very, very end of the, show with season 2, how she's holding on to Amberosa's mask at the very end. Her character design, like her costume and everything, reminds me of Karma, the support character in the game itself. For a moment I was like, is that who she's gonna end up becoming? But I don't think so. I think Karma is her own character in itself, because she's Ionian. She's not from Noxus. So I was like, I feel like when I first saw that image of her watching it, I was like, I recognize this character from somewhere. And still at this very moment, saying this podcast, I don't know like where this character or like that costume reminds me of at all. And I think so hard, like, where the fuck have I seen this photo character costume before? And I still don't know, and it's like bugging me to this day. So if I ever find out how it looks or anything like that, I'll bring it back up on the podcast. But that new character designed, her new costume, her new look, is very familiar, and I just don't know where it comes from. If you guys know, let me know. Say something in the comments below. But it's very familiar. I just can't put my finger on it. Mind you, I haven't played League since 2020, so if it's something from like an old character costume or something like that, cool. But past that, your guess is just as good as mine what she could become in the future.
Do we have any more thoughts about the Black Rose? For instead, if not, we can move on to a different last part of Act 3. Anybody has any thoughts for Black Rose?
No.
No? Okay. The not last thing, but one of the few things that to end off with is the Chase and Victor story of them has come full circle from where Chase was given by a alter reality or some version of Victor in a cloak many years ago of a ruin. Many years later now, from season 1 to season 2, he goes through his own hell. He sees a future of Piltover. He man, like I don't know how many days, how many weeks he was in this hell, but he was there for so long that he grew the beer and he broke his leg or something, and then
Ooh, that hammer came down on his leg. I
Yeah.
cringed
that
so hard.
I felt bad for that pair. Like he survived. Like this man was so ambitious to get to where he needed to. Many people would have give up, but for you to just continue pushing through, continue surviving, having a fire, and then to continue to climb me up, knowing that these are this fucking iRobot fucking type of shit chasing you or fucking lurking in the shadows. Like this is these white robots reminding me of Will Smith movie from 2003. This is
I
what I
saw
remember.
the thing.
Yeah, you did.
They was moving around like the robots from iRobot 2.
Yeah, they,
When
bro.
he
Yeah.
fighting him in the fucking council room. That
Yes.
motherfucker was moving around like the new gen iRobots. I was like, hey, yo, this is terrible. They keep jump scaring me too. I want to bring that up. Like, they jump scared the fuck out of me on multiple occasions, especially in episode 9.
Yeah. Episode 9, we're about to touch into that, but when it comes to the hell, anybody wants to talk more about Chase trial until he finally reached the top, and the beautiful, by the way, the background shots, the animation shots of that episode itself, like the vast world, the cloudness, showing the landscape, everything was beautiful. Chase going through climbing of each of these rocks that were just like by the gravitational pull, like just up and levitating up in some type of atmosphere, and Chase just kept going on top. I gotta give props to dude. Like you having a broken leg and struggling, no hammer, you have to take it apart and do your own thing to climb and find your destination. To see you're finding the top of the tower to find your answers, and your answers was everything is nothing. Everything
I'll give him
was for
props.
nothing.
I'll give him props, but also he deserved everything that happened to him.
Sadly, I
It's-
agree.
It's hard for me to look at the same Jace that I once knew because you guys might not know how he looks in the game, but he looks
Fucking
nothing
Clark
like
Kent.
yeah,
in the
no,
game.
I don't know if you guys like really seen the movie, but the Jace, the photo of him, how like his original base skin character in the game reminds me of Metro Man from Megamind, to give you an idea, right? So to see like this very cool guy, you know, like smiling, like, oh, I'm your hero, I'm an inventor, with the jacket, the white jacket and everything, to see like this kid like kind of like fucked up with like like with the facial hair and everything. It doesn't it throws me off. It's like that's not the same guy. I'm like, who the fuck is you? Like, you're not my boy. I don't know you. I've not played you before. And it's like it's just another example of character development, you know. Yeah, he deserved what had happened to him, but at the same time, as a scientist, it's a learning experience. You reap what you sow. Did you really learn from your mistakes? If you did, make sure history doesn't repeat itself. And that's what he, you know, learned throughout visiting this fucked up Piltover. With the robots, you know, as he's going through, like, you know, as they're waking up, I was a little creeped out too. I was like, oh, what the fuck? Like, oh, nah, like turning their heads kind of creepily and everything, hand moving. I'm like, oh, nah, get me the fuck out of here. I do not want this man dying from these fucking robots. And then what really touched me, at least from all that, wasn't that itself, like the people, you know, succumbing to Hex Tech, but Jace himself succumbing to Hex Tech. You see him at the very top of that tower with his, you know, modified hammer on the floor still, and he's awake. He's still alive. If you guys pay attention to his eyes, it's moving. He's conscious. You know, so you're seeing.
I didn't notice that. Wait, so the Chase that was alive, that we know that he struggled to get up there, the Chase with the hammer that is became a white person, he was still there?
Yeah, so he's come to Hex Tech because of, you know, what had happened with Victor. He's there holding on to it. In that final scene of you know, fighting with Victor and everything, in that one instance, in the beginning, like the first actual fight happening, he lost. Like Victor was able to get to the hex combs and get the powers that he needed to make everyone involved with Hextech.
Yeah.
So he failed. So in that moment, he's holding on to the hammer like that. Everyone, comes to it and everything like that. And then in another alternate universe, which is what we know, Jace and Ekko and Heimerdinger in the second act 2, the first episode, whatever, right? They get into the hex combs and then they get teleported, whatever, right? They go to different worlds. Ekko and Heimerdinger go to a different universe, which everything is kind of like different. But Jace goes to the future of what happened in the first fight. So now he sees what had happened. And we see now Victor like, oh yeah, I won. I got all the answers for everything. I'm fucking bored now. He sees now knowledge is not power. He sees like having all the answers does not make me a better person. It's fucking lonely. It fucking sucks. I go back to the same point again. Ignorance is bliss. It's better to not be curious and to not ask the questions that need not be known than finding out the answers. The truth hurts and it sucks so much ass, because where does Victor end up after all of that? Alone. He doesn't have his friend. His friend is literally right. He watches his friend all the time, just holding on to the hammer, moving his eyes around, and that is it. That's all he can do. And it sucks. I felt for him. I was like, damn, like imagine meeting your past self, future self, and that's how you end up. Like you're on the losing streak. You're taking that L. Like damn. Like I fucked up. Like damn. I don't want to end up like that. Like this can't be the future. This is not what I thought was gonna happen. And everyone has this idea, this notion of like how they want to change the world, save the world, and everything like that. There is no right way. There is no wrong way. We just need to know what really helps and what doesn't. And science, unfortunately, wasn't the way to save the world in this instance of Arcane. So that's why Victor was like, I'm gonna give you the I forgot what it was, but it was that little crystal that he gave to him. Like that is the key to saving the world. And he used that with the fight. And it wasn't even that saved it more than anything. It was Ekko's zero drive.
Yeah,
the zero drive. That's what I was saying in the first previous episode. And the thing that made me so happy at the inside, was Victor saw that device. He was like, that device should not even exist. I was like, that's right, motherfucker. It shouldn't exist, because you know what? You thought you knew all the answers. You thought you saw everything, but you saw everything in this specific universe. You didn't see all the other universes. You couldn't have fathomed what is to come in other presences in the past, present of those times. So the fact that Ekko created something that should not exist in this universe was so amazing, and it's so cool lore-wise to see, like, because the way that he got the zero drive in the game is not the same as Arcane at all. So it was nice to see how he created he created his own zero drive, his own invention. In the game, it's a little more different, and I'm not going to dwell on that because it's going to take a while. But long story short, it's two different ways how he got the devices. But the way in Arcane he gets it is by building it, and it was so cool to see it with the help of Heimerdinger and with Jinx too, Powder, in that universe. And to see that he actually broke time itself. He was like, I can't do the 4 seconds of robots are going to get me. He was like, I got to go more back. He goes like all the way back, and then he throws his Z drive at Victor. And then it just breaks the whole universe. Jace is able to, get out of that whole, mind spell thing. All of that was just so cool for me. And it just goes to show science, when you use it in one way, it can save the world. In another way,
it could destroy it.
Exactly.
Beautifully well said. That when he said to himself that device should not exist, and it shows that he only touched one reality, one universe. He didn't go to the all universes to see what other possibilities. It kind of reminded me a bit of Doctor Strange here, back in the Avengers. When Doctor Strange checking other realities, he said that out of 1 billion chances, there's only one that works. What he meant by that, only one that works that way they win. In their point of view, in their perspective, one possibility where they could win. Other realities, they could win, but in different versions. Who will die? Who will survive? Other versions that could be possibly endless. So when it comes to this, I like also what we saw when he went back this more than 4 seconds. He also killed all the robots because the people around him gets destroyed. But it didn't matter for him because these are just random robots that are part of it. So for him, Ekko didn't care. The animation shot for that was amazing. I'll just to touch on the ending of episode 9, seeing that Victor, no, that's not Victor, so apologies. Warlock, Vander,
Warwick.
Warwick, I was to say.
I keep saying Warlock, I don't know why. Warwick, Vander, him in that murderous intent of killing his daughters, I was on the edge of my seat.
He didn't
That
have to look
fight-
that shiny, to say the
That
least. He
fight
did not.
was so fucking cool, bro.
It was great. It was
I
great.
love zero gravity fights, and that fight was done so well. Jinx riding on her mini. First of all, I didn't
Oh, the mini
realize
rocket.
I didn't realize Jinx fused Ripjaws with her minigun. That was so fucking sick. When she like riding on her minigun by just propelling herself around with her gloves, and Warwick just
Yes.
basically extreme parkouring. Oh my fucking god, was it beautiful? Animated wonderfully.
I don't know if you do play Jinx in the future in the games, you can switch between Fishbones and the other weapon.
Fishbones. I keep calling it Ripjaws. Thank you.
Yeah, Fishbones. You can switch
Ripjaws
between
is a fucking alien from Ben 10. God damn it. Paul.
Yeah, originally I'm like, isn't that the fish from Ben 10?
But yeah, so it was the way they animated that fight, like her weapons and everything, is exactly the same in the game. That was something that they did not play with. They kept it the same way in the game to the animation to a T, which I actually liked. And a little bit of a side note, which I don't know if you guys know, the clock tower when it broke, Ekko grabbed a piece of the clock tower, which was a shining piece of like green blade with a circle on the side. That's his actual weapon in the game too. So it's not really shown how he gets that in the game, but it's cool to see like, oh, so that's the weapon, because you always see him with a pipe, through season 1 and then going to season 2, like him, with his hoverboard and everything. He's been using a pipe, and then at the very end, getting into the battle with Victor, he's using that little blade that he got from the clock tower to like beat the robots with. I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. That's how he gets his weapon from. That's so cool.
It shows where or how creative engineering Ekko is, and that shows like, hey, I'm gonna use my weapon, and it was a clock tower. Clock towers are usually made by great materials because they're there to last for ages. So for him to grab one on the spot and to fight for Vander, for Victor, was amazing. Smart move.
The man who shattered time, literally, the man who shattered time.
Man, that shatters time. Well said, well said. But, this comes into our last remaining thoughts, our overall review, any critique, criticism, strength of season 2. How do we feel if season 2 is better than season 1? And then it comes to the end of our show. So I'm going to pass it to Jokester first. How do you feel about this overall season 2? Do you feel like it was highs, lows? How's the world building, the additional stuff that expanded the exposition from season 1?
So last time I was on the show, I said I gave Arcane season 1 a 9.5. I rewatched season 1 and I upped it to a 10 because I forgot how much of an actual masterpiece. Like, I remembered like almost everything about the show. That show is actually like season 1 is actually just a masterpiece, but I will give season 2 a 9.5 only for just some stuff could have been more fleshed out. That's literally it. But I don't think, like, I genuinely don't think outside of maybe the Black Rose story, they did anything wrong with this series at all. I don't think they did. This is just me personally. I understand. I don't think they did anything wrong. So it honestly gets a 9.5 from me.
100% agree with you.
I would agree too. Season 1, I'll give it definitely a 10. I think I gave it a 9.5 last week when I was talking about it, but I give it a season 1 a 10 out of 10. When it comes to season 2, I don't give it 9.5. I actually give it a 9 out of 10. Not because I have to agree with the Mel stuff, the Black Rose, and I feel like a bit of the exposition of the stuff with Chase and Victor throughout Act 1 to Act 3 was a bit ambiguous for any viewers that couldn't really understand what was going on until like Act 3, everything came in full circle. And then to Blue Balls in me not giving me a season 3, so I'm gonna just take that little couple point decimals off of being in pain of me not getting these characters ever again.
I agree with Jokester on the score. I personally think season 1 was a 10 out of 10. It was like he said, it was a masterpiece. It's perfect. There's nothing to modify, change at all. The music, animation, all of it is nice. With season 2, what I will address real quick was the Black Rose aspect to it was nice, but not elaborated on, which is a shame. If it was elaborated more on, or if I had more knowledge of it, even with the game itself, maybe I would have understood it a little bit more, maybe would have get it. But because it wasn't really explained, especially for people who is not familiar with the game itself, that's kind of disappointing to say the least. That's something that I hope Riot addresses in the future. Maybe not with Arcane, but maybe in the games or even with comics, some kind of idea.
I hope so.
The second thing I want to bring up is the character that is known as Maddie, but I will refer to her as Police Girl because I'm not gonna fucking address her as her real name. Fuck her.
Bitch.
That character is one of the biggest betrayals, top 10 betrayals of anime of all time. The audacity, first off, the audacity of this character, right? You want to make me believe, excuse me, that a character like her is all good, sleeps with, one of the main characters as a side piece. She's not even the main. She wants to be the main, and the main character's not even going to let her be the main, the main, GF, right? The fact that you betrayed your country in a sense. You really did. You betrayed your country because this main didn't want to make you the main. Make it make sense. That's so fucked up. And the fact how it ends for you as you're about to pull the trigger, that you yourself get shot in the head. I was like, thank you.
Yo, the amount of happiness.
100. If there was any takeaway from it, if there was any takeaway from that, I would have gave it a 9 if she lived. The fact that she died, I kept my score higher. I was like, you know what, Riot? You had me the first half, not gonna lie. Because of that alone, I'm gonna let it slide, and I'm gonna give it a 9.5. You killed a character that deserved it. If there was any character that deserved to die, it was that bitch.
I agree.
Fuck her.
I'd rather Maddie die 10, 20 times than rather my tank dude who died by an arrow on the neck.
For real, bring my boy. And I'm pretty sure it's because of her that he had to die. He did not have to perish like that.
No.
Unfortunately, war never changes. And finally, the last thing I want to bring up, the reason why I didn't put it a 10 out of 10 is the ending of, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna deny it. I think Arcane Season 2 is amazing. But I don't think it holds up to what we saw originally with Season 1. Mostly because of the ending. I personally think the ending was straight trash. Even though my ranking is a 9.5 out of 10, I didn't like how it ended because it leaves a lot of open-ended aspects for a lot of characters. And it leaves an open-ended aspect of we don't know where from here on out the story goes.
Exactly.
Does the story close and another story opens? Because you want to remember that you saw a raven with 3 eyes peek around at the bit of hex tech that was still there. Science, you think that it ends in one way? No, science will always continue to develop. History repeats itself.
And plus, the bird drinks some. Like, it literally has some blue on his mouth after that, and then it starts to fly away by the ships of Noxidum.
The Noxin ships. So the idea now is, does the story now go to Noxin? does it go there? Like when I saw that, I saw it reminds me of the character. God, I forgot the name. Swain is the character. Is the Noxian general because he does control ravens, and he got his powers through a demon. And I'm not going to elaborate more on that. If if you guys want to research more on this character, that's where I remember the bird from. So I'm like, oh, we have a lot of potential from this now going to Noxon. Uh, that being said, you have that aspect, so we don't know what happens with the Noxon army, whatever. You have Vi and Jinx. Caitlyn now has an eye patch on her eye. She cannot see through one eye. In the game itself, like like she has two eyes. She sees normally. So Jokester brought up this great point that Arcane skins are now available in the game itself. Arcane is its own universe. It has nothing to portray with the base, game of the characters that we see, which actually brings up a great point. Like, oh, so maybe Arcane is its own universe that it's just sliding away from what we know in the actual League of Legends, game itself. So now it makes me wonder. Mhm.
That's how I see it as well. Like, for example, the League of Legends games, I'll see it, for example, as Earth 1, Earth Prime. But then Arcane is Earth 3. The same story beats from Earth 1, just a couple things change. Like you said, Kate doesn't have one eye in Earth 1. She has two eyes. But in Earth 3, she has all
steampunk clown.
that too. So,
I'm not gonna lie, the outfit that, as much as I love purple, that purple fucking top hat is goofy as hell.
I don't know. I can't even begin to tell you why. You know what it is? That was a character design from like the beginning of fucking like whenever they created her. Can it be modified? Can it change? For sure. Like Riot does have the ability to do it. Will they? Probably not, because it's a very iconic, costume. A lot of people know it because it's steampunk. It's goofy as fuck, 100%. But I don't mind it. It's something I've known for a while. It's whatever. Like there are other character designs to change, like Skarner. They already did, but if you know from back in the day, he was ass.
This is one of my biggest ass crash was leading to. This is one of my biggest criticism when it comes to the missed opportunities. The missed opportunities is that they could have done more with Mel, the Black Rose. Where are they going to lead off to? Are we going to have another series in the League of Legends world, but with a different title in the world of Netflix by Riot, where it will be the Noxiums or it will be the other characters? Because that's what I would like to see. It doesn't have to be Arcane and Kaylin and Vi them again. Vi and Jinx story has ended. Jinx most likely dead. Hopefully not. So hopefully we lead into other opportunities.
To shed something on that, I just read a tweet from Valor Intel. Arcane co-creator Christian Link revealed that 3 more League of Legends shows are in production and that the next one has been in development for more than a year. Link also revealed that the 3 shows will take place in Noxus, Iona, and
Ionia.
the Demacia regions.
Let's go! We're getting fucking looks! Yes! Oh, we're gonna get silence. Let's get it!
Noxus is the home place of Mel and
Ambrosia. So, you guys are not familiar with these characters. You'll be getting Darius. He's the spear guy. I'm gonna butcher his name. I don't remember it. I'm sorry, but you guys know Rufus.
Rictus.
Yeah, Rictus. Rictus. You think he's badass, or you think he's strong? Wait to see Darius. Darius is a killing machine. He is a buff motherfucker whose mercy is not in his vocabulary. You have Swain. He is very tenacious. He is power hungry and will do nothing at getting that power. He lost his whole hand to get power from a demon. That's how much he craves power. Noxon, the way they act is very merciless. Violence for violence for violence to win. You'll see more of that, and I'm very curious to see how they're gonna portray more of their ideology and their characters in this series project, whatever coming up. Ionia is very interesting. You have a lot of characters like Akali, Shen, Maybe potentially Zed we might see, with that. You also have Karma, like I spoke about. A lot of powerful mages. Maybe Mel goes to Ionia to find out more about herself and meets all these characters there. Who knows? That could potentially happen. Demacia. It has to be said. The story has already been made. There's comics about it. But you see, how Lux gets like understands her powers as a mage, because in Demacia, magic is a big no-no over there. If you're a mage, magic is a big no-no over there. If you're a mage, it's like The Witcher, Witcher 3, excuse me, the Wild Hunt, like they're hunting mages and pretty much like either killing them or sending them to the dungeon. And Lux is finding out that she has powers. She has light powers, very similar to Mel. And long story short, she has a brother, Garen, one of the big night warriors, maybe a general, I don't remember, of Demacia, who also is like no to mages. He kills pretty much mages, stops them. She meets a mage named Silas, who is a character in the game, who steals powers in kind of like, like I touch you, kind of like Kevin in Ben 10. I touch you, I get your power, and I can use it pretty much against you or for you if you want. So I'm not gonna spoil the story on that. I hope they animate it, because that would be a very, very, very interesting story to watch. If not that, I would like to see more of Garen and Katarina. She is a mercenary killer. It's kind of like Batman and Catwoman, you could say. There's a good guy, bad guy. Good guy's trying to stop the bad guy, but they have a secret relationship. I hope they animate that. But I won't spoil more on the stories of it. There's, like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of ways Riot can go with a lot of these stories. Give me Star Guardian Lux, please. We want the Star Guardian stories, Riot. But otherwise, I can't wait to see these projects. I really hope they announce it soon. I can't wait. I can only hope that it's going to be fire when it comes out.
Saying from what I saw from Jokester tweet, it's exciting that they have 3 projects, one already been in development for the past year, so that means we should be getting it by next November, because if they've been in development for at least a year, by next year should be at least 2 years some change. So if they have something, maybe by November, same time around now, we should be talking about another League of Legends series.
I'm not worried about when it'll release. I waited 3. Look, I didn't, when Arcane was announced, I wasn't asking for it. I didn't expect it, but it was cool to see. And then after it's released, it's like, I told myself after watching it, I was like, I'll wait a year, I'll wait 2 years, I'll wait 5 years, I'll wait. Take your time. Good things happen to people who wait. Patience is a virtue.
And Chase.
3 years, and we got season 2, and it's a 9.5. I'm not even mad at that. It's still the best thing. The romance aspect with Powder and Ekko, right? You have character development happening all around with all these characters up until this point. New characters like Warwick, Orianna, which I did speak about with this ending, which kind of, I'll speak about in a second. It just grows and grows and grows, and it just shows like Riot knows exactly what they're doing when it comes to telling a story, and I know they won't disappoint with these feature projects for sure. I just, like I said, I can't wait to see it. I hope it's fire. But to go back to what I was saying with the ending.
Yes, Ariana used the goat chick, the daughter that the doctor actually got to save. He actually found a solution. I have had to combine immortality, hex tech, and the beast serum.
Yeah, when I found out that she was Sync's father, I didn't know that. I didn't even know if it's in the lore of the actual game itself. I don't know if it is. If it is, I never knew it, but it's still crazy to find out regardless. I wish she was more immersed with the story. I guess like I want to see her more in action, see more she brings to the table.
She popped up twice. She saw a picture that she's in a coma like the Winter Soldier, and then after the ending, she's getting dressed up or something, and then that's it. We only see her twice.
Yeah, I kind of was like blue ball with that too, so I was a little disappointed. It was nice to see. It's cool to know. But as fans, you kind of, especially Orianna fans, mind you, I don't main her, but as someone who has played mid lane, who has played against her, I know people who love that character are probably upset that they didn't see more of her in Arcane season 2. So that's kind of a shame. And then the final part was of the ending was what had happened with Jinx. Um, you know, throughout the whole show, we see Vi protecting Jinx, and I want to go back to the idea of Ishma saving Jinx from herself in that aspect. Like you may have done bad things, you might have been seen as a villain, but you could always change your ways. There's always a way to redemption to become something better than what you once were, and she was the perfect example of that. So where now at the very end, you see now Jinx saving Vi, from danger, and that's the first time she's ever done that for her sister in a sense. So it was cool to see that. You know, we've spoken about it before in this podcast. The notion that the trope is, we don't know what happened with Jinx at the end of the that scene. But the thing is, if you don't see a body, if you don't physically see the death happening, it never happened, and that person's probably still alive. So,
See, the reason why I disagree with that is purely because of sentimental reasons. When it comes to how Ekko celebrated, or not celebrated, but sent her off. Because you saw how they were doing basically like a Viking send off at the end for everybody that died throughout the war, and then you see Ekko on his own
At the
wrote his
rooftop.
name down on a piece of paper, and he burnt that up. I know that is him saying that Jinx is gone. So yeah, there's the whole don't believe they're dead unless you see a body thing. First of all, that's bullshit. We've seen actual bodies get decapitated, and we've seen them come back at some point in multiple types of media. Let's just keep it a buck. But
True.
even though we have the don't believe they're dead unless you see a body, for sentimental reasons, I'm to believe that Jinx is dead, because I feel like they gave her a amazing send off with Ekko lighting her name up. My only question is, do you think he wrote Jinx or Powder?
I couldn't answer that. That's a
Ooh,
great question.
yeah, that's something to think about. That's
Damn.
something to think about.
My boy cooking right now. That's a great question. Look, realistically, if we're really gonna keep it real, it would make sense Jinx, because that's how he knows Jinx.
No, he knows Powder
He would
more.
want he would want to put Powder before she became Jinx, for sure. But if I know Ekko, if this is the man who is very realistic, knows the type of person that she is, we all know that Powder is not here anymore. That if Powder was still here, he would not be acting as Jinx. I think the reality now is Jinx is here. She's here to stay forever. There's no way to go back to Powder. I think Ekko would have wrote Jinx in that instance, for sure.
My reason that I think he wrote Jinx rather than Powder is because he had his experience with Powder when he was in the other Ekko's body.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
That
because she's still alive, he just left her because there's no confirmation what happened to that other universe. It's just a what if. I don't think we really need to even care about them for real.
No.
He left
oh my
that universe.
god.
He left that Powder alive. Therefore, I truly believe he wrote down the name Jinx.
You bring up an interesting point now that I just remembered. At the very end of episode, I believe it was 7 or 8, at the end of the whole Ekko thing, Ekko's back in his
In his own body.
universe, universe and everything, right? So Powder sees Ekko in that alternate universe and everything, the way he is and everything, right? And at the very end, right, she had like a little pendant necklace of a rose and everything like that, and she's putting it away. But as she's putting it away in her desk, you see to the left of that a bunch of those.
A bunch of hex.
Exactly.
Yes.
Maybe that's a sign of her alluding that she could still be alive in different universes or something like that. I don't know. I'm just thinking about there's a reason why Wright would show us that. Like the crystals exist. Maybe Powder would find a way to that Ekko.
My thought for that was because they didn't allude, or they didn't tell us exactly what mission killed Vi, but I'm assuming it was the same mission that was the catalyst for everything that happened in season 1.
It was the same
Mhm.
one. The same one that Ekko
Okay,
gave
so
the
it
tip.
was.
Yeah.
I feel like those hex gems just came from that.
Yeah.
And they were a remembrance of that mission. And in Vi, since she died from that mission, that's why she keeps them there.
Yeah, I think she saved them as a memento of that. These are the ones that caused the cause and effect a domino to the explosion, and she just protected them or held on to them for some apparent reason. But now she knows about them because of Ekko causing that little power outage and him appearing. Now she knows what they could do. So now using her full potential, maybe in this universe, she could access a different reality.
Jinx is about to make hex tech in that universe, and that's kind of terrifying.
Yeah, and
No,
but was
well,
she?
well, it's not Jinx, it's Powder. So she has a different positive mindset. So her crazy adventures won't be as crazy. I hope, but yeah.
But will she use that as a means to find the echo that we know, or is it
Why
just
would
to
she
help?
need to? Because
I don't think she would.
yeah,
I
because
don't
she,
think
she
she
got her
would.
boyfriend back. Like,
Because the thing
Oh,
is,
you know what? That's true. You did get Echo back at the end of it. It's true.
and she didn't really fall, like, it's not like she fell in love
with a different
the
Ekko.
with the new Ekko. No, she stayed like thinking he was the same Ekko until the end.
Yeah. Girl didn't know that there was a different Ekko inside her Ekko. She didn't know
So
that until it happened.
That's a loose end that I'm glad they tied up. And honestly, because it's a what if scenario, I'm fine with that being where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know
same.
what? We got it. I got it. Like I said, the title I would call is "What If." We should trust leave it. It's just a what if scenario, really, and it was nice either way to see it because again, we didn't ask for it, but Riot gave us a really like, what would you do kind of scenario, and it's like, and it's perfect because Echo is the perfect character for it, especially with his whole theme of time and everything. Like it's perfect. Riot always outdoes himself. There's really not more I can say about that. Yeah.
Perfect thing that we don't much to say because this is our rapid closing thoughts. So if you have a thing that you want to say, because Chad, we went on a 3-hour show of what is Arcane season 2. I know people. I saw the coverage of on YouTube today. Quick side thing that I saw somebody did a 4-hour, and this is one person. One person did a 4-hour coverage on Arcane season 2, and I'm like, damn, I can't even speak myself for 4 hours. I don't think, but doing a podcast for 2-3 hours, that makes sense because that's not just you talking, that's your guests, your people, your co-hosts, so it makes sense. So we had just had a full Arcane season 2 coverage. So I want to also encourage you, chat. Let us know what your thoughts. Go have a discussion in the comment section down below of what you guys thought about Arcane season 2 was. Tell us your fan theories. Tell things that we missed to discuss. So if anything, we could do a little follow-up in the future. Have a little Q&A if you guys want to tell us anything we missed, anything to quickly dive in the future. But Crash, Jokes, or any little highlight, quick remark that you want to bring up before we end the show that you forgot to mention? Arcane, any emotion, any quote that you want to bring up, any favorite character that you wanted to mention real quick?
Yes. The fight between Mel, Caitlyn, and Bessa at the end.
Oh,
I
that's
didn't
fire.
bring it up earlier. Good God, that fight was so fire.
Great.
The choreography was crazy.
It felt
Mel
like
coming in with the protection was insane. That one ricochet where that spear hit that one guard, I felt bad for him. He did not deserve that one.
Fuck him.
he got shot. He got yeeted. Boom.
That fight was so clean. Ooh, man, every bit of it. Like, and the ending of the fight when fucking Caitlyn took the knife out, cut the runes off of her arm, and she didn't even fucking notice. So Caitlyn's low-key bleeding out on the ground, but she set Mel up for the kill.
Yo, she just took the bullet for her eye. She said, "Go do it," and like her eye was just bleeding. Like, Mel, do it. I'm here bleeding. Do not hesitate. This is your fucking moment.
And that's why I got so mad about the ending too. So it's like, you know, she's alive in the game, right? So now like she's dead. Like what the fuck? Like
that's why I'm saying different universe.
Yeah,
it's
a different reality. Like
you know,
it's
once
the same reason why their costumes aren't the same. It's the same reason why we have Arcane skins in the game. It's a different universe.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Once I believe Ekko or once Hammerdigger was saying we're in a different universe, a different reality. That's like once you bring up that line in any type of medium, you go into a rabbit hole that everything has consequences in each of its own universe, but now you get into different realities with different timeline, present, back, future, with Chase going to the future, and with Ekko and Hammerdinger.
Chase the entire time, by the way.
What?
You've been calling Jace Chase the entire time.
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude and just like
Chase.
no, like what
Chase. It's tomato, literally like right the same.
God damn it.
That's the reason I didn't bring it up till the end.
Yeah, like I knew that I was pronouncing it wrong, but I knew I was saying it right, like one or the other. That's all. Like it gets confusing because I feel like I'm saying Chase like the bank, but then I'm saying the word in my head Chase like his name.
Yeah, I get it, and that's what I was thinking the entire. Every time you said Chase, I was like the bank.
And like, what is it?
Another example, one we've talked about, Invincible. Fortnite. He literally in the show smacked old big head nigga with the fucking bolt action sniper rifle from Fortnite when they were going through the different portals, and he was just beating his ass through every reality. He came back with the fucking it wasn't a bolt action, it was the dragon sniper rifle. I know exactly which one.
You're talking about Arcane.
No, I'm bringing up the dimension shit. Like,
the Invincible. Oh yeah,
that's the reason I brought up Invincible.
Yes, I remember that.
Also, Arcane is also part of Fortnite.
Oh yeah, buying Jinx is in it now. Yeah,
I have the Jinx skin.
I would purchase those skins just for them now. Like that's the one purchase of Fortnite I would actually do when I hesitate for that reason.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Fortnite was the reason I realized Jinx was so fucking skinny, dog. Like, god damn.
Yeah, she's just skinny. Yo, her hair is long as hell. I didn't know her hair looked like it was like almost 10 feet tall from each angle. Like,
yeah,
the way she's laying down.
How much shrinkage putting your hair in braids actually is. Lesson for y'all with black hair. When you twist your hair up, it's going to lose the same volume. It's going to lose the volume that it had when it was all down.
Yep.
So that's like why her hair was all over the place like a fucking tsunami when she was in jail.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't in those damn braids.
And it was just creepy. Again, guys, I just want to bring it up. That scene of her just going on a nail, but it's because she was literally like accepting Aisha's death. Accepting Aisha's death of somebody else is something that's tough, it's challenging, and you didn't expect it was gonna happen. And she's accepting reality. Like anybody. A lot of people could ask, why didn't Jinx accept, death herself, suicidal? She tried to. Ekko really stopped her. Like, every time she had a moment to suicide, she couldn't because every person came into her life. Vi came back into her life. Ekko came back to her life. She had a purpose. Isha came into her life. But then now that she don't have Isha, now that she doesn't have nobody, she felt that alone and solitude. And you could feel that in any type of character relating. Each person had their own path. And by the way, one of my favorite things about the show, the pacing was well edited for each of the character. Each character in their story felt like their own main character in their story. Even in the grander scheme of Piltover and Zaun going through the chaos, their battle. But every time we transitioned into Mel and their battle, back into Ekko and their battle with Vander, everyone had their moment and their story being told as a main character. Nobody felt like a side piece or a side character. Everyone, when it got transitioned, it felt like they had their spotlight. And that's one of my favorite part in this story. Is where a lot of series could fail, Naruto, Bleach, when you have such a grander cast, but then you don't tell each of the cast members their right story or give their time. But Arcane told everyone time. Yeah, Mel and Black Rose, as much we could say it wasn't fleshed out, but it was still enough to be told where the origin story wasn't that important as much as Mel and her power and how much she added value to the battle itself. She was a key player. If she wasn't there, Caitlyn would have died because of her side piece. A lot of people would have died because without Mel's help. Chase himself wouldn't have been the same person himself because of Mel. So Mel was such
head bitch ass nigga. I'm sorry, I really don't like Jace.
Oh, Jace go fuck himself. Trust me. We are on the fuck Chase train. Fuck him.
I think he's okay. I don't. I see where you guys are going with it, and I 100% feel for you. He could have been better. He
But
kind of character disappointed me.
I understand him. Like, if you tell me he's not Frankenstein, he's the guy that makes the monsters. Not Frankenstein. I forgot. It's the mad scientist.
Igor?
I believe it's Igor, right?
Yeah.
He reminds me of Chase because with so much curiosity, it made you lose sight of your goal, and that's what happened to Chase himself. He lost a bit of his humanity because he wanted to be so curious on the runes and the magic and the powers. So it's just this show, Arcane season 2, is truly spectacle. I have no high remarks, and trust me, chat, we could talk for maybe another hour about the show, but I don't want to have it more longer than what it is right now. So as much as it is, like, this show was fantastic. I cannot have too much flaws. The writing was spectacular, the animation, the astral projection, showing the Messiah of Victor, and the conversation, how everyone for some reason had white hair. Like, whenever we got into this reality of the 4D dimension of space, Victor and everyone became like a fucking holy spirit of white hair, fucking like some type of Goku Ultra Instinct type of mode. I was laughing my ass off. But any last thoughts before we now enter our outro, and anyone could check out the long episode of episode 158 and just tune in for next week, episode 159. We're entering the month of December.
I will say just real quick before we end the podcast, two quick things about the ending. The runes, the one that were on the spear guy, Rickon, you said was his name? I'm not sure I get it right. Rictus. Those runes remind me of the Blade of Riven. If you guys play the game, you know what I'm talking about. I hope it was alluding to that, because if not, it was just a big coincidence that they're glowing green. But it was a little tip off. I think that was cool. I hope it is from Riven. If not, whatever. And then the other thing that we didn't talk about real quick, I will just mention, the kiss scene that we saw with Vi and Caitlyn was really, really nice. The kiss scene we saw, with Ekko and Powder was also not something we asked for, but it was still cute to see. The sex scene.
I asked for it.
That was fucking phenomenal.
You asked for the two girls to be fucking in a jail cell?
Riot.
No,
Riot.
I asked for Ekko and Powder.
Yes. Ekko and Powder was adorable. I shipped them. I shipped them for sure. It's just sadly we were never gonna get it in our reality.
No, and the game even says it too. Ekko has the voice line where he says, I had a huge crush on you, but you went crazy, so I dubbed you. So that it's canon. It's there, that voice line. But that sex scene with Vi and
Ekko,
Caitlyn,
be like me, like crazy.
that no nips. We didn't see that. That's crazy. They were very, very clean about that, but damn, they didn't have to go so hard to show us something, like that. I thought they were gonna keep it PG-13. They kept it MA-17. So you know what? Hats off to you. Wow. We better see more of that in future projects. That's all I'm saying. And I really hope to see some shit like that. I can't wait to see what you have planned for.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Amen to that. Jokester, any last thoughts before we transition out?
No sorry, Bob.
All right, so chat, you heard it here. We had a 3-hour coverage of Arcane Season 2. We had the amazing breakdown of the themes, the characters, the story, the sex scenes, the beautiful betrayal, the side piece, fuck the cops, all these
Fuck
things.
Maddie.
Yeah, fuck Maddie, fuck the cops. We all about it. So if you enjoyed our conversation, like, subscribe, hit the comment section down below of what you guys thought about it. Let us know your thoughts about it. All the time codes will be down in the description as always. So we appreciate you guys for checking out and joining us for tonight on this episode 159. Take the time to listen in. The Anime Podcast is presented by AniMa W3 Studio, a production team, Vash, Watkins, Rome, Jokester himself, and special thanks as always to our guest, Crash himself. Don't forget to follow the socials of the brand and the team down below. Of all the links are down in the description. Lastly, share, like, most importantly, give the feedback or the comment section below of your thoughts about this episode, because you guys is what make the show and us succeed. On behalf of everyone at the AniMa W3 Studio team. We thank you for joining us in the Anime League podcast. See you later. Take care. And this episode was not recorded by a live studio audience.
Fuck Maddie. Ekko carried that whole show. 100%.
I roll for Jinx and Ekko. Hopefully. A comic strip. We see you next time.
God. Oh, thank God. You know exactly why I said don't say it, right?
Tell me.
I was just waiting for this nigga to say cheese on pancakes. I swear to God.
I thought about it. I'm like, he said don't say it. I'm not going to do it.